Hey everybody, welcome to the Pancake Boat Podcast. I'm your host as always, Chad. This is my co-host TF. How you doing tonight, TF?
Oh wow, I have had quite a day, but I'm glad to be home here right now, and I'll obviously be talking a little more about exactly what took place here today, which I think you guys will all find pretty interesting. But I'm just happy to be here for the podcast. I'm feeling in the holiday spirit right now, and I'm ready to get the show on the road. How are you doing tonight, Chad?
I've had a pretty rough day too. I've had a pretty rough week. I'll go into that in a minute here, but how you doing tonight, Joe? Is at least one of us having a great day today?
I don't know if I call it great, but it hasn't been bad. I'm not like some of you guys sounds of it. I mean, you guys have kind of hindered all day, and like I said right now, just before, I'm kind of interested to hear what you guys are going through. I mean, I really don't have too much to say about myself. We maybe have a house coming up. I don't want to say for sure, but that'll be a big relief if we do. I mean, obviously it's been like 2 years.
Have you actually seen it yet?
It wasn't open for an appointment, like to go inside. You couldn't see it, but we could see like the outside of it, and it's 2-story and stuff. And like I'm kind of skeptical myself, but if you give the offer and you go, like you schedule an appointment to go and see it, you can actually back out, so it's not too bad. I mean, from the outside, it's pretty nice. I really don't know the website or anything because the real estate lady finds them basically, and obviously my internet we can't really go find them, but. She found it online. It's pretty much just one. It's kind of like a 2-story house. It has some lights outside and stuff. It's pretty nice from the outside. There's like this boat, this boat on the side of it, kind of like a RV parking, but had a boat. And my grandfather was like, "Oh, does a boat come with it too?" Like jokingly. But it's a pretty nice house. I'm not really.
I thought you said a moat for a second.
A what?
Like a moat. I thought you said a moat for a second.
Why would you need a moat around his house?
I don't know. Maybe he's moving into a castle.
That'd be kind of funny actually if we did have a moat.
I need one of those around my house.
There you go. I don't know for sure. I mean, there's a lot that can happen between that time, especially with like people bidding on stuff. So we'll see where it goes. But that's probably been like the one major highlight of the week, I'd say, pretty much.
I'm actually kind of surprised that your grandmother actually bid on this house without seeing it, considering like you said last week about her being so picky about
her and my grandfather actually just really liked the outside of the house. They liked it so much that they really wanted to put an offer. And we've seen like a house before that. It was like a red house, and it was pretty nice too. It was 1-story, but like. It was pretty nice too. It had like
the a nice area though, like the one that your grandmother bid on actually.
Yeah, because actually the landlady said
it's not out in the middle of the desert, is it?
Oh no, it's nowhere near there. It's like in a cul-de-sac, kind of like here. It's like I can't relate to houses you guys might know, but you guys have just think about kind of those houses we've seen like in Chicago and when we go there, we see like those
like the suburbs,
something like that. It's not quite like that because it's still like in the city, but it's those kind of style houses, like where it's kind of like kind of small but kind of.
I get it, yeah.
Yeah. So it's in a good area. Like the landlady lived close by. She said, or not the landlady, the real estate lady lived close by, and she was like, "Yeah, it's a good area." There was actually another house that they're going to show us, and we're going to like see the outside of, which we eventually. She canceled the real estate lady canceled that because apparently like there's a lot of offenders that live there, sex offenders. So she obviously didn't want to she didn't want to show us that area, but I guess the area we're in must be pretty nice then. So I not getting my hopes up just because you really don't know. I mean, she's talking about how like people bid on these houses like investors and stuff, and it gets really competitive with auctions and all that kind of stuff. I really don't know.
This is like the best time though to get a house though because they're so cheap.
Oh, it's very cheap. Like this house is 2 stories and it has like 4 bedrooms and 3 bathrooms. And it's only like $90,000, which in California for like $90,000 for a house like that's ridiculous. So
yeah,
that's one reason why they did bid on it because it was so cheap, and the house payment itself will probably be really cheap, like maybe $400-$500 depending on how much it goes for, because it might raise if they bid on it. But that's probably the big news story of the week for me. I really don't have too much else to add to that. It really hasn't been like too big of a week for me, but Christmas is coming up soon. That's kind of what everyone's preparing for, I think.
All I'm going to say is I don't care how the crime is. I don't care if you live in a neighborhood full of sex offenders. I just want the internet to work.
Wow, the internet might work in that case, but who knows if I'll even be around to enjoy the internet in that case.
That's a good point.
It's funny hearing you talk about like this whole like house hunting thing, because the whole idea is so foreign to me. I mean, I remember like back when I was a kid, us house hunting and the like crazy things that went on when we were doing that, but that's been about like really almost 20 years ago now, but like I think 19 years coming up, but like I just remember all kinds of weird stuff, like us going in these houses that like didn't have a floor, and
What?
one of them that was like had this like mushrooms growing inside of it. There's some interesting stuff around here.
We haven't had any houses like that. I think the closest to like a kind of a weird house would be one that had kind of like an ants in it already, and
Ew.
like on the counter and stuff. Like my grandfather was about to touch it. Thankfully, we told him beforehand. We like put his hands all over the ants. But other than that, they've been pretty good houses. There's some that are kind of like, because like funnily enough, some of these homeowners aren't very happy about losing like their houses and stuff, so they kind of like mess them up. That's kind of
yeah,
like
that's actually what happened to our house. Like when we like right before we moved in here, like the old owners like went down in the basement and like clogged up all the drains, and then like put this hose down there so it would like flood the entire basement.
Wow, that's a little more morbid than what I saw. But
what did you see? You released a bunch of ants?
No, mostly just like holes on the walls and stuff like that. Like sometimes like the sprinklers were left on like when we were there and stuff in the home. But other than that, really like I can't think of anything like missing floors or like flooding the basement. That sounds pretty terrible. I'm kind of glad we haven't had like your experience there, because that sounds pretty terrible.
Well,
I've only. Oh, you
I was just gonna say, well, the people who lived in here before got evicted, so they were kind of just like
angry,
like ticked off about it. But
I've only been house hunting once because I've only ever lived in one house. But we used to move all the time when I was a kid. I think I lived in maybe 20 places in between the time I was like 6 years old and 12. And I remember when we bought our first house, like it was in pretty good shape, but like the water was like undrinkable. And I remember like going into what was going to be my room, and I was like messing around, and I saw like this hole in the wall. It was like this almost like a secret hiding space or something in there. Like I don't even know what it's for, but it was like this like secret passageway almost. Like you could store. You couldn't actually go in it.
I was gonna say, did you ever go in there?
You could like store stuff in it. Like if you like, obviously I'm not gonna put like drugs or anything in there. But like, if I wanted to, it would have been very easy to hide that stuff in there.
Did you hide anything in there, like in general, not like drugs?
I don't think so, because I was kind of a germaphobe.
Hide your Playboys in there?
Oh, Playboys, yeah, right. No, I was kind of a germaphobe even at that age, so if I had stuff, I did not want to put it in there, but pretty interesting at the very least. But I really do hope you get a good house, man, because I know you've been waiting for this for years now.
We've all been waiting for this for years.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I really don't have too much to add to that, and I've been waiting years to hear what your guys' day have been, so I want to hear what you guys have gone through this week.
I'll go first, because I think TF Hat probably has the worst. I'm just guessing. I'm going to go through my whole week here. We actually went to, my grandmother's birthday was the other day, so we actually went out to lunch. I took her out to this Chinese place we have in town. I've talked about it a few times, called the Jade Palace. And we got some buffet food there. That was good. Done a little Christmas shopping this week. I've pretty much gotten everyone done. That's actually a problem I'm going to get into here in a minute, but I want to touch on something else first, and that is that I've mentioned here on the show a few times that I've signed up for some dating sites, and I've had some pretty interesting experiences on there, but probably none more than this week. And one TF knows about because I told him about. It was there was like this girl who's like 27 or 28 years old, and she keeps messaging me, and she has like kids, and I'm kind of in this unfortunate position where I don't really want to be mean or rude by not responding or like saying I'm not interested. So I'm like kind of like, oh yeah, that's neat, like have a good day and stuff like that. And I'm kind of fearing that I'm gonna end up dating this girl or something just because I can't. I don't want to be rude. Like you guys know what I mean. Like you don't want to be mean, you know?
I know. I totally get that, and I could see myself worrying about the same thing. It's kind of like, I don't know. I guess maybe because we kind of know what it's like to feel rejection, and that we're kind of maybe more compassionate than the average person. That even to a fault, maybe that we just kind of relate to that type of thing so much that we just don't want to say no to somebody just because, for lack of a better way of putting it, we would just feel bad about it. And I know I would feel that way in a sense, and I think that's kind of what you're saying here too, and I absolutely can relate to that 100%.
Well, today it got even more interesting because this girl from the Philippines, I have no idea what from the Philippines looking me up. I guess it's because we had like a similar match. Like they have like this match thing where it shows you like people from all over the country or the world or wherever, and you kind of have to set it to like have it be girls in your town. And I noticed this girl from the Philippines was looking at my profile, so I look at hers and I'm like kind of just interested, like not obviously thinking I'm not really going to date this girl from the Philippines, but I look at her profile and I see that she's like 16 years old. I'm like, oh, okay, I'm out of here.
How did she even get on there?
I don't know. It says she's 18, but she like writes that she's 16, still in high school, and I'm like, okay, I'm out of here. And I just kind of forgot about it for the rest of the day. This was like 12 o'clock in the morning, and today when I wake up, I see this message from her like, hi, and then I look and notice that like other girls in the Philippines are like viewing my profile now. They're like all around the same age, and I'm like, what the heck have I gotten into here? This is one case where I will not respond because the other girl I didn't want to be rude to, but in this case I'm like fearing like is like some FBI agent trying to trap me or something like that. It's just
That wouldn't
a
shock
very
me.
weird situation. So what would you guys do if this happened to you?
I probably would just be like, I might respond and just be like, hey, I mean, you seem nice, but I think you're kind of too young for me. Not only that, but you're in a totally different country, and I don't think it would be worth pursuing any of this anyways. So, I mean,
Maybe they have like different customs there, and she like wants to find a way to come to the U.S. or something.
probably. I can see that, and I just think that first of all, they're not even supposed to be on there in the first place, so that's
Right.
kind of it's kind of a no-win situation, and who knows? I mean, it very well could be some like FBI agents or something like trying to like trick you into like doing something so they can catch you or something. I don't know, but
Well, I have no interest in 16-year-old girls from the Philippines. So
what's really weird to me is that a bunch of them from the Philippines just like messaged you.
yeah, like 3 of them. It's weird. I'm like looking at it now. There's like I'm not gonna name names, but there's like one's like says she's like 16. One I guess is like 17. I don't know if they're friends or I have no idea.
Well, maybe you should move to the Philippines. I think the ladies there have a thing for you.
Yeah, young ones. I don't know. Maybe that's okay there, but it's not okay with me.
Yeah, I actually had some similar to that happen to me, in that same thing that you were talking about just now about how you can set up something so that people who are like a similar match to you can look and see who is a match for them, like around the country or the world. And that's actually how I ended up getting into contact with that one girl who was from like Illinois or something, and we chatted for a while, kind of like hit things off. But yeah, kind of like the same thing that you're saying right now is that she seemed like a nice girl, she was attractive and all that, but I just didn't really feel like it could go anywhere, considering she was in like a totally different state, even though I obviously do go to Illinois, quite a bit. But I just kind of felt like, as nice as this sounds, I don't really think this is going to work. So I feel kind of bad, like leading someone on, and it just kind of made for an awkward situation for me. But
How'd you handle it?
well, I kind of just, we talked for a while, and I guess in a way we just I think we kind of both knew that it wasn't going to be able to go anywhere. So it kind of was just more of like, a friends type thing. But eventually we just kind of, the messages got further and further apart until eventually we just didn't message each other anymore. And to be honest with you, I think that was probably the best way that it could have gone, because I definitely didn't want to have to touch on the fact that, hey, we live too far away. I don't really want to, I don't think a long distance relationship would be the best thing, considering
I would have moved for her.
I mean, yeah, if it was possible, I would have looked into it, but
I feel you.
it just wasn't the right time.
Still kind of a sad story, though, that you actually hit it off with someone.
Yeah, I
There's
know.
Oh, well. Well, I'll kind of get into what I was saying here. I got all my Christmas shopping done this week, or at least I thought I did. It turns out that I got my mom this book that I found out she already had. Like, the next day, she's like, oh, I just ordered this book. And I'm like, oh, did ya? And it comes to find out it's that same book I just ordered the day before. It's Joyce Meyers, who she's like a big fan of. And so I'm like, okay, I don't know what to do here. So I ended up just telling her about it. She's like, oh, well, give it to me anyways. I'll give this one to someone else as a friend. So I'm like, okay. So I have to order her something else just because I want to give her something as a surprise. And for my grandmother, I had no idea what to get her. And so I was like looking around, and I found like this necklace thing, and it says like grandmother with love or something on it, and it looked like this nice piece of jewelry. And today I get this box, and I'm like, oh, this must be my grandmother's because everything else came. So I open it up, and at first I think I see an empty box, and I'm like, what the heck? Like, did Amazon send me an empty box here? And finally I look in the corner, I see like this like microscopic like thing, and I like put my hand out and bring it out, and it's like, that is apparently what this jewelry thing is. It's like this little thing that I paid $20 for. It's a total ripoff. I don't even want to give her the thing because I just get this feeling she's gonna be like, even though she won't say it, she's probably gonna think like I paid like $2 for this, got it out of some machine in the grocery store or something.
At her age, she might like look at it and not even be able to see it, like think it's a joke.
Yeah,
it's gonna be like that the earrings on Doug, where you gave like the ears for earrings.
I think that sounds better to me. She could see it.
So it's just kind of frustrating to me that I really, I was in this joyous mood the other day, like buying all these gifts for people, and then I find out that I either bought stuff that people either already have or they probably won't want, or it's like a total ripoff.
What's weird to me is, like, why would your mom like buy something like that at this time of year when like that's the time when you're going to be getting gifts? I mean, I don't know about you guys or anything like that, but.
The thing is, she just got a debit card, her first one, so she's just uncovering like the magic of on thing. So she's kind of like addicted to that right now. So that makes it very hard, admittedly, but what can you do? I mean, I remember when I first got my debit card, I was like ordering stuff on a weekly basis, so it's very addicting having all those boxes come to your house at one time.
It is. This online shopping is truly one of our generation's greatest inventions.
Before I actually close off my part of the monologue here, TF actually got his gift from me this week.
Yes, I did, and I was very surprised. I actually have a video up about this, and I don't know if you saw that, Joe. Did you see the video?
No, I didn't. I didn't even know about this.
Yeah, well...
You can link to the video if you want to get my live reaction to it.
Yeah, I think I'll do that, actually. Let me get this.
Before I spoil what it is, I have no idea.
I'll say what it is. I got TF this thing.
Don't. No, I want to see what it is.
Okay.
I want to see what it is. Like, I don't know what it is. I want to be surprised.
You won't even know what it is when you see it. I guarantee it.
Okay, go ahead.
Well, there's like pastry like thing around here called the whoopie pie that I've actually talked about here on the show before, and you guys both said that you had no idea what it was. I remember oddly the only person I've talked to online that ever knew about it was KC, and I'm like, how the heck does she know what it is? And she's like, she knew someone from New England or something that like made them for her. So I guess it's like mainly a New England thing, but apparently like this place that I ordered them from TF was in like Indiana or something. So that was kind of confusing. It was like some kettle place in like an Amish farm or something like that. Farm. Yeah, so they sent it to TF. I sent him I think it was like 4. What was it, 4 TF?
Yeah, something like that.
And he actually posted a video. It's kind of a tradition now where he posts like this video on YouTube of his reaction to my gift. And I got to be honest here, like I actually thought he was disappointed at first for some reason.
Well, I kind of can see how you would have got that idea just from like watching the video back, but I think the reason why at first I reacted kind of strange is because I opened the box up and I'm like, well, what's this? I see these like pastry looking things in there and I'm like, is this like a dog like chew toy or something? Like I pick one up and it's all shiny because it has a wrapper on it, but I can't really tell that when I'm just looking at it in the box and I'm like, what is this? Like, is this some kind of a joke? And then I kind of looked at the wrapper and I was like, oh, okay, this is kind of cool. But I thought it was actually a really good gift, like a really unique idea. I mean, I really had no idea what to expect, especially when you told me, like, well, be careful with the box, like, and be sure to open it right away. And I'm like, did you, like, send me a chicken or something in there that's, like, a live chicken that needs to be out of the box immediately? And
I wish he had now.
And then I just didn't want it to go bad, because it could have went bad if it was, like, stayed in there for a few weeks.
And then even... To like,
go ahead.
Confuse me even more. Like when I actually got the box, it says it's from Indiana, from some kettle place, and I'm like, is this like a farm? Like sending me like it's a farm animal or something? Like, am I gonna open this up and find like some like eggs in here that are like about to hatch? and then to make things even worse, when at first I thought it said it was from a kennel, not like a kettle, and I was like, okay, it's like a puppy now. Like I don't even know like what to expect here, but
STF, I put a puppy in a box.
But I thought it was a great gift. I enjoyed them quite a bit. It was my first time ever having one, and definitely a unique gift. And you know, I really appreciate you taking the time to send me something, because it's a tradition now for me to open it up on camera and like post a video. But I thought this was really one of the funnest gifts that I've gotten in a long time.
Oh, I'm glad you enjoyed it. Did you finish them off yet?
Not yet. I've eaten a couple of them. I'm trying to, you know, not
you don't want
eat
to eat
them
too
up.
many at once. Yeah.
Yeah, those things are very, very sweet. I don't think that it would be a good idea to eat a bunch of those in a row, but they're really tasty. I like them, so thumbs up for me, like I said in the video.
Did you see the video, Joe?
I'm watching it now. I'm currently watching TF eating one. I like the hat TF, the Christmas hat.
Yeah, he wears that every year. It's like a tradition, like in the video. Like last year it was the Victorious napkins, and the year before it was, I think it was the captain's hat.
Did you actually get the video of me like trying them out?
Yeah, I did.
No, I meant Joe. Did he get to that yet?
Oh. Yeah, I just saw you eating them. I don't know if that's the video you mean.
I have no idea how you even got to that video, because I don't even think I had that video listed.
Oh, you're looking at them. I don't know if you actually ate it. You like put it towards your mouth or something like that.
Oh, well, I have one where I actually ate it, so I'm about to.
Oh,
get that.
no, you're like holding both of them now. You're like waving to the camera.
I don't think we need Joe's live reaction to TF eating here on the air, but
No, probably not. I was just like,
No, I'll pass on that one, but
fun video though. It definitely, you know, you actually told me you did get him that shit. I actually forgot, like you because we haven't like talked that much, but you did tell me what you got him, and I remember now once you said that.
yeah, and I actually told you what I got our friend Clark too, and I don't know if I should say it on the air here or not, because he never listens to this show, but
you never
let's just
know.
say
That's good promotion. He never listens to this show.
he doesn't. He like listened to the first episode and he's like, oh, that was okay, and then he never listened again. So,
At least we're honest with our audience here.
but you thought it was something else, and I thought that was quite hilarious because I'll just say it. Joe thought I got him a knife.
Yeah, you said like a combo switchblade or something. Like, why would you get that guy a knife? But it was a comb switchblade or something like that. I thought it said combo, like a combo, like a switchblade. I was like,
A butterfly knife or something.
I thought it was like something out of Doug, where like he pulls out that big pocket knife from like the scouts.
Oh, what? What?
He has like the switchblade knife. He has like, I don't forget what it was. Yeah.
Oh yeah, that Bluff Scouts episode.
Yeah, it has like 5 things in one. I'm like,
Oh,
like
you're talking about a Swiss Army knife.
yeah, something
Yeah.
like that. I thought that's what he like got. Something like
You're
that.
talking about one of those things that like they like
Yeah.
just use or something.
I was picturing like Doug in an alley, like pulling a knife out. Or...
Wow.
That's not the Doug I remember.
Well, that Birds and the Bees one wasn't what you remember either, so you never know with Doug.
Well, hopefully our friend Clark isn't listening here. He always says he never listens to this, but I'm sure if he does, I'm sure if he's listening right now and he got it spoiled, he has this angry red face right now. Sorry, EFD, but I am actually like really curious to hear how TF's day went, so I'm gonna hand it over to you now, my friend.
Oh, well, this is a rather long story, but today really started out as just, you know, normal day, you know, take my brother and sister to work, and then coming back home, going to sleep, or at least trying to sleep. I actually slept better than I have recently, because I kind of took your advice about, like, not taking naps, which helped me out greatly. I actually slept quite a bit last night, so I appreciate that, Chad, but
It's good.
But so actually today started out on a pretty good note. You know, I got up feeling good. I was feeling rested, and about 4:30 I headed out to go pick up my brother and sister from work. And as I told you, like, I was probably going to be late tonight. Little did I know how late I would be, but my sister wanted to go get her hair cut afterwards, and she's very specific about the places where she wants to get her hair cut, and there's only one place that she'll do it at, and it's kind of like way out of town, like in like not really out in the middle of nowhere, but like way out, you know, past in the suburbs where there's not much around. Like, I'm trying to think of a area to compare this to. I mean, it's kind of like some of the places in Chicago where we were at. Like, I guess you know that big like wooded area there is out there by like the Burger King and all that when you're going out that way by the roadway.
Lions?
Yeah, like that type.
Yeah.
It's like a suburban area, but there's not really much around, like except in, like.
I know that area all too well after spending like 2 weeks
Yeah,
there.
well, basically I head out there, and while she's getting her haircut, me and my brother go to Walmart and Meijer and some of the other stores and doing a little Christmas shopping, and we picked up some things for around the house. Like my mom needed a few things, and we were just picking up some groceries and pretty much just wasting time, killing time waiting for Lynn to be done with all that. And afterwards, she comes out, and it took her a lot longer than she expected. Like she said, "Oh, I'll be in there 5 minutes," but it was more like a half hour, which, as you know very well, a lot of times when it comes to girls and things where they're, I don't know, things that have to do with their hair or makeup or whatever often take a lot.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Either way, I'm like very tired and I'm hungry, and we decided to go over to Wendy's and call my mom and we like basically like write down this big list of like this huge order that we're going to be taking, and at some point me and my sister get into this argument, and then she's talking about, oh well you shouldn't have said let's go to Wendy's because it's too far away and I want to go home and go to sleep. And I'm like, hey, I you're the one who suggested that we go out to eat. I was just going to go home and eat whatever my mom made, but it really wasn't even, come to think of it, it wasn't even really her who suggested it. It was my mom who suggested it, and she just said, oh, I don't care where you go. And my mom was like, oh, well, go to Wendy's. I'm in the mood for Wendy's. So basically it was just a very silly argument, but we were just arguing about this, and at some point I noticed that we're kind of low on gas. So I'm like, well, let's go to the gas station. And she's like, oh, I want to go to Wendy's. Like, hurry up, I want to go home. So I'm like, all right, I'll just go to the gas station after we go to Wendy's, because I don't think we're going to run out of gas or anything in between there. So we get to Wendy's, and we this order takes forever to go through because we're ordering all this stuff for like my entire family basically, and the woman's like at the drive-in is kind of getting a little bit like annoyed at like the length of this order, and we ordered like $40 worth of food or something like that from
Wow.
from Wendy's, and like just as like I'm about to pull up to the window like to get the food, and like all of a sudden like disaster strikes, and the like engine stalls, and I'm like, oh, I guess we ran out of gas. And
No, right in the drive-through?
Yes, and all of a sudden there's like all these cars behind us like beeping, and like I'd rather get out, and we're like trying to push the car and get it out of the way, but it's kind of on a hill, so it just like rolls backwards, and it almost like runs into all these cars, and eventually we just like push it off to the side of the road, and we're like, well, I guess we're gonna have to go like walk somewhere and get gas. And like if this would have happened like in our area, like where we live at, this wouldn't have been that much of a problem. But the closest place that we could get to actually like buy a gas can in the first place before we even would go to a gas station was Walmart, which was like a mile down the road or something. So me and my brother basically started this walk in the rain, like a mile to Walmart, and we go.
Dang, dude.
We like go in there, and they don't have one, so we have to go to the Home Depot next door, and which is like about like 3 or 4 blocks down, and we finally get one in there, and after that we end up having to walk like 2 more miles down to some gas station that like it's like endless like major highway with like nothing but trees around it, and we're both just sitting there like, oh God, what has happened?
And this was in the dark too?
Oh yeah, this was about like 9 or 10 p.m. and we end up
Wow.
walking for a couple miles until we finally see this gas station, and we're like, oh, finally. And we get there, I like just put this gas in this gas can, which is kind of weird in itself. I feel weird like carrying around this explosive stuff as we like walk down this highway, but we got it, and we walked back to the car, which was like another 2 miles, and like to add insult to injury, as I'm like trying to like pour it into the gas tank, it starts spilling all over the place and all over me, and I'm just at that point I'm just like, oh, like when is this going to end? And luckily we were able to get enough gas. I was actually able to get enough gas into the car to get it to the gas station, and I drove a couple miles back up to the gas station and put like a ton of gas in there because I did not want to run out of gas again, and I just like swore that I was never going to let it get anywhere near being that low again. But I think for the most part I just felt really dumb because like I kind of let like I'm not like blaming this on my sister or anything like that, but I kind of just I kind of got so nervous about things like, oh, I just got to get to this Wendy's before like my sister freaks out again. Like I just want this to be over with. That I kind of like took a gamble that did not end very well, and this whole process took like a little over 2 hours. So it was just
wow.
terrible, and I trust me. The funny thing, I guess the funniest part of this whole story is that we ordered all that food. And we couldn't even pick it up because like the car stalled right there, and they just ended up having to like take the food back. We didn't even pay for it or anything. We just left.
Wow, they couldn't just bring it out to the car? Or?
Well, no, they wouldn't do it. I don't know exactly what will, like, I don't know if it was some kind of like protocol or something, but we ended up,
that's weird.
We just ended up not getting the food, but after I dropped my sister off at home, me and my brother went back out and ended up getting some Wendy's at this other Wendy's because there was no way we were going back there after that
no.
situation. So we brought that home, and oh man, did that ever taste good after like walking like basically like 5 miles just to like get gas in the car. And I'm just exhausted right now and like mentally and physically drained from this, and I'm just very glad to be here doing the podcast and not walking in the rain in the middle of the night out in this like deserted area.
Okay, I knew that your story was probably going to top mine, but that is an understatement.
I don't think any of the story could ever top that.
Maybe some of our Chicago experiences. But
Even that's a big maybe.
No, the window one tops it. I think.
That's true.
I will never make the mistake again of taking a gamble when it comes to like running out of gas. That was the only thing that I can say that was good about this was the fact that it happened in an area like in that parking lot and like not on the side of the road actually, because I ended up having, me and my brother ended up having to leave our sister there, in the car, and I would not have liked doing that if it was like out in the middle of nowhere, and at least it was like in a safe area. It wasn't like it happened, like the car broke down out there on that deserted road. So, I mean, there was a lot of cars around, like it's like a busy like road, but it's like dark and there's like nobody really around. So
that could not end well.
It all in all, I would say that it could have been a lot worse, but it was still bad.
I will say, like, the funniest part of this whole story to me is that your sister took like all that time doing her hair, and when you just want to go to Wendy's to get something to eat, she was like, I want to go home. Like, to me, that's just funny. Like, I'm going to take 5 minutes to go do my hair. She takes like half an hour, and she's like, you guys are just going to Wendy's to get something to eat. She's like, I want to go home. Like,
that's girls, man.
I know. I have a sister just like that, so I know how it is. It just makes me laugh.
I'm not blaming at all. I mean, obviously, I'm the one who made the executive decision to keep on driving, but like, I don't know. I mean, when you're trying to go somewhere and someone's like rushing you and you're on the road, you kind of get nervous about things. And I was just like kind of getting in this nervous mode where I'm like, okay, I got to get this done really quick before I can't stop for gas right now. I got to get this over with before we get into another argument. And I gambled and I lost, but at least everything turned out okay. I mean, I ended up losing like $20 because I had to buy that gas can, but oh well, you live and you learn. Yeah.
At least you made it safe, and at least you have a good story for the podcast.
Oh yeah, I guess that's the one thing I was thinking of when I was out there walking. Like, I am going to talk about this on the podcast.
Wow. Well, we have some topics tonight. I don't know if any of them are going to top our monologue, but we'll try here. Apparently, this morning there was an earthquake in Japan. I was just on Twitter, like TF and I were playing some games on Facebook, and then I got on Twitter, and like the first thing I see is like pray for Japan. I'm like, whoa, is this like an anniversary thing, or did something actually happen again? So I look, and I see that there's another earthquake, and that it caused a tsunami, and I'm like, whoa, this is happening all over again, because I think it was last year that happened.
Yeah.
It might have been earlier this year.
Yeah,
I believe it was last year. I'm not too sure.
The thing is, when stuff happens at like the beginning of the year, like in like the first month or so, it's like it's hard to remember when exactly it happened, but I think it happened like last year, but I don't know. I think it was
recent.
It was recent. It was in the recent history.
But yeah, I actually did pray that nothing that bad would happen. And I ended up going to bed, and I woke up, and I haven't heard anything about it since. Like I went on Twitter expecting like to see maybe more about this, but I haven't actually like looked out like news stories. But I haven't heard that much, so I'm guessing it wasn't that major. And TF even like told me this morning that there wasn't like any casualties or anything really that bad that happened from it. So apparently it was just it wasn't a fun thing, I'm sure, for the people of Japan to go through, but apparently it was like nothing compared to the last one.
Yeah, from what I've been hearing is that it was like a pretty strong earthquake, but it wasn't anything like that one in a year or two ago. And obviously everyone's very thankful about that, because that was just a horrible disaster. But I'm sure it just brought back a lot of scary memories for the people of Japan. And after that, everyone's gone guard. Everyone's worried about when is something is going to happen again. If just fearing the worst. And thankfully, this turned out to be somewhat of a false alarm. I mean, you can never be too careful about natural disasters and some of the outcomes of having like a big earthquake like that. But thankfully, at least everyone was more prepared this time in case that something really bad did happen. And that's really one of the few things that you can see that comes out of these disasters that is good, and that's that it kind of puts it in everyone's mind that, hey, this stuff can happen, and it does happen, and you got to be prepared. And thankfully, that this time around it was just a scary moment, and nothing more than that. So I'm definitely very happy about that. I think the last thing that they need after everything that had happened with that last earthquake was to have something like that happen again. So definitely very thankful that everything seems to be okay over there.
Have any thoughts on this, Joe? Have you heard anything about it? Or
I actually didn't hear about it until you just said that, so it's actually kind of sad to hear, but at the same time, it's good to hear that there were no casualties. I mean, living here in California, I've had a few earthquakes. Not I haven't actually been any like I felt recently, and most of the ones I remember that were bad were like when I was a kid. So, even just being through those, which are nowhere near as bad as the ones like in Japan, like those are scary in themselves, just because you never know what's going to happen. You're kind of in that guessing stage, especially when the power goes out, or you have like stuff doesn't like back when I remember like the worst earthquake I had was probably back in early 90s probably, and it's back when we used to live with my great grandmother and stuff like that. She used to have a house, and we used to I used to live there with my grandparents and my mom and dad and all that, and it pretty much put the power out for like a couple of days to the point where you really at that time all you had there's no internet, there was no any of that, or phones or anything. Well, cell phones, but the only thing you had was basically like a little radio to tell you, like with batteries, to tell you what was going on. And I remember like we couldn't even eat at home because there was nothing worked. You had to go to like McDonald's, and they had generators and stuff like that to get breakfast and stuff. So even that to me was pretty scary. I mean, I was a kid, but even now I'd probably be pretty scary. Can you imagine like Japan, just thinking about like the type of earthquakes and stuff over there? It really makes me feel for them. It makes me like pray that they don't go through this stuff again, because it's disastrous. There's some disasters you can prepare for, but earthquakes are really, really tough, along with like tornadoes and hurricanes to prepare for. Because what can you really prepare for? You can try and lessen the blow, but the blow is still going to happen. It's what's coming. I guess that's kind of the territory of living there, but at the same time, it's like you never know when it's going to hit. Like you said, it's just you never know. You always got to be on your toes and ready.
I have only ever, I believe, lived through one earthquake. I think we've had a few mini ones, but we don't really have like a lot of earthquakes here. But we had one. I remember I've told this story a few times. It was like 2004, and the whole house started shaking. I'm like, what the heck is going on? Stuff was like falling off the shelves. And then my mom's boyfriend, who lived with us at the time, like ran down the stairs in his underwear. Like, I think a tree fell on the house. I think I was more scared to see him than I was of the actual earthquake. But you ever lived through an earthquake, TF?
There was one I remember. I think it was in like 2000. I want to say 2001 or so. It happened while I was at the store, and I didn't really feel it there. But like I remember when I got home, my dad was like, "Whoa, there was just an earthquake," and he was telling me the story about how he was sitting there like drinking coffee at the table, and all of a sudden he like got these wide eyes as he starts seeing his coffee cup move, and he's like, "What is happening?" And then like I as I was like on my way home, I started like hearing all the stuff about people talking about, whoa, there was just an earthquake, and then I get home and I see it on the news that there was an earthquake, and there have been a couple of them in my life. I've never felt one, but there have apparently been a couple around here. So I mean, I guess it happens, but it's not very, very frequent. not that you would think it would be. I don't really live in a very earthquake-prone area. There are like no mountains around here or anything, and just kind of an area where you wouldn't expect to get near earthquakes. So I'm very happy about this, to be honest with you.
Well, I hate to move on from one negative topic to another. I guess that wasn't that negative. I mean, could have been worse. But actually, this week, Frankie Muniz suffered a mini stroke. And I was actually on Twitter the other day, and I saw him tweet about this, and he said, like, I had a mini stroke the other day, and I'm, like, thinking, like, is he kidding, or is he, like, exaggerating something? But no, apparently it came out that he actually had a mini stroke, and I was reading about it, and apparently, like, his whole body went numb, and he was in the hospital, and, like, his girlfriend couldn't even understand what he was saying. It was like he was, like talking gibberish or something, and apparently he's fine now. He still doesn't know what caused this. He said he's never smoked, he's never drank, he doesn't do any drugs, so he has no idea what this could be. Could maybe be stress. I mean, he's not really like an overweight guy or anything, so I mean, maybe he has a poor diet or something. Who knows? But still, it's very scary stuff, and I'm glad to hear that he's doing better. And I've always really liked Frankie Muniz, so scary stuff.
I think like the most shocking thing is that he's only 25. To be honest with you, at first I kind of thought he was a little bit older than that even. I'm like, whoa, this guy is like basically my age, and he like has a stroke. It just kind of is like a wake up call that you just got to be careful. This could happen to anybody pretty much, and it kind of hits close to home because a family friend actually who is pretty close to everyone around here in the house. His daughter, who was only a few years old, had a stroke recently, and I was thinking, like, how does that even happen to a kid? And even the doctors weren't really sure what would cause something like that. So, I mean, this just kind of goes to show you that it can happen to pretty much anybody. And if you see the signs of something like that, or if things don't feel right, you got to take stuff seriously because it's no joke. And I'm just glad that Frankie Muniz was okay because, I mean, obviously I'm a big fan of him, but even putting that aside, it's just a scary thing to think about anybody going through. And at least, he got to the hospital and was able to, get things under control because that you see it every day. I mean, that's something that can kill you very easily, and it's nothing to play around with.
What are your thoughts on this, Joe?
It's very strange. Like, in the past year, we saw like Jerry Lawler, of course, in wrestling terms, and he didn't drink or smoke or any of that either. It's kind of weird that you see people like that who kind of...
Yeah, but at the same time, he's in his 50s.
That's true, I know that. I'm just saying, like, it's kind of weird in the sense that they live those clean lifestyles, and, you can still suffer those effects. I think it kind of goes with what you guys are saying, that, it can happen to anyone at any age. It's something that you kind of have to take in consciousness. I mean, there's always that kind of mindset, like I'm not saying Frankie Muniz had it, but it's kind of like that mindset of, you're young, you're kind of invincible in a way where you kind of, you can take this stuff and shed it, but it can happen to anyone, and it's just it's kind of scary when you do think about like how it can happen to kids, it can happen to anyone. You just never know, and it kind of it's always stories like that take you back to not to take things for granted, because you never truly know what can happen the next day, or what's around the corner. It's just there's a lot of technology is a lot better these days, and sometimes with medicine and stuff, but still it's scary in general just to think about anything like that happening to you or anyone around you. So it always just brings you back to that. I'm really glad to hear that he wasn't like nothing permanent, or he's gonna do fine, but just you describing that of how he was, and how he was talking, but it was just gibberish. It's just it's scary to even think about that, especially being someone clean and at such a young age. It's just really scary. It makes you wonder, like, what did cause that? Maybe it was his diet. Maybe it was this. It just makes you wonder, in a sense of like, could this be me at some point? Could this happen? Obviously can happen to you, but it's like, like, am I doing all the steps I can to prevent it? To me, it's just kind of an eye opener, and I'm just really glad he's okay. And, he really, I really do like him too. Malcolm in the Middle, all kinds of, Agent Cody Banks. You can name all those things, but even like TF said, beyond that, just as a person, you hate to see anyone go through that. So I'm definitely glad to hear he's okay.
I think diet and stress are really the big things to look out for, because honestly, like a year ago, like I've always kind of ate like crap to begin with, but I was like at this point where I was like getting really stressed out very easily, because I had this friend, I think you guys know who it is, but we would argue on like a daily basis, and he would get me so angry that I would just get really worked up, like way more worked up than I should.
I'm sorry, man. I apologize. I'm just
no. But no, you guys do know who it is. But I was just getting really worked up over things that I shouldn't. I have no, I should not get worked up over. And my blood pressure was actually like getting really high when I've always had pretty good blood pressure. But just the combination of not the best diet and getting so stressed out about things, it was getting kind of scary. And I'm actually glad that I went to the to get a checkup because I was told about that and I was put on medication and now my blood pressure's good. I try not to let things get me worked up, but I mean it really could happen to anyone, and it's just it's just a really scary thing to even think about. Like I could not even imagine, especially me like living here alone. Like what would I even do, especially if I can't talk? Like there's a good chance I could die here alone in my apartment without anyone knowing about it, and it's really scary to think about.
It really is. I'm really glad that you got that checked out. I mean, if you didn't, who knows what could have happened? And that's just why it's so important to make sure that if something doesn't feel right, you gotta have at least have somebody take a look at it. Somebody, a professional, a doctor, and don't try to just tough it out, because a lot of times that's what happens when people get really sick and unfortunately lose their lives. They think that they gotta just tough it out, or be this like big tough man or something like that, and that's that could be the end of you. It's nothing to mess around with. Your health is really the most important thing about you, because if you don't take care of yourself and your health, then it's not a very good thing all around.
Moving on to a kind of a much less serious topic, Pizza Hut is apparently, they put out a perfume that is pizza flavored. And it says it smells like hand-tossed dough. And when I first read this, I'm thinking, like, who thought this was a good idea? Like why? And then the more I thought about it, the more it started to make sense to me for a few reasons. One is obviously publicity. Like, a ton of people are talking about this right now. Long term, I don't think it's going to be like a huge success for them, but I mean, it's they're getting a lot of publicity about it, and they always say that publicity of any kind, good or bad, is good for you. So that's one thing I think that kind of benefits them here. And the other one is just the fact that it's so much of a gimmick. Just because, like, remember a few years ago when they had like the turkey flavored soda and like gravy and like all these different Thanksgiving flavors, and people would buy them just because they were so curious like what this was. I think this kind of falls into that category of, maybe you're going to get your friends some Pizza Hut perfume as like a Christmas gag joke or something like that. I could actually see it kind of selling from that point of view, but as in general, I think this is a pretty stupid idea. I don't know who wants to like smell like pizza all day. Maybe Joe, but that's what are your thoughts on this, DF?
Well, I kind of see it like what you said. It seems just like a gimmick. It's something that around the holidays they get out because it's going to be a gag gift, and people are going to want to buy it just because it's so out there. And the idea is kind of, people are like, whoa, what in the world is going on with this? So, I mean, just getting that type of thing out there, that confusion and that curiosity is going to...
Maybe I should get that for my grandmother.
But yeah,
there you go.
It's going to make people think like, oh, I got to get this for somebody because it's so crazy. And I actually remember those Jones sodas you were talking about that were like turkey flavored and like, what was it, like
gravy stuffing?
Yeah, gravy, and
I think they even had like a dinner roll soda.
Yeah, and like I don't think anybody actually thought those things tasted good, but people still bought it because it was just so crazy and out there that they wanted to be a part of it all. And I remember there was somewhere around here, I think it was like maybe downtown, there was like this they were like giving out these free bottles of that, I remember, in like 2003 or something, like to kind of promote it. And I thought that was pretty awesome. But yeah,
didn't you actually try one?
Yeah, it was very, very weird. I would never...
Which one was it? The turkey? Or?
Yeah, the turkey one. But yeah, I mean, I'm just out of curiosity. I would want to try out this perfume, this like pizza perfume. I don't think that I would want to walk around smelling that way. I don't know if, like, I love the smell of pizza. I don't know if I'd want a girl to be smelling like pizza all the time, but
I pity whoever gets this for their girlfriend for Christmas, even as a gag gift.
I mean, it would be hilarious just to like send like our friend Clark like this big like case of pizza perfume or something, but I can't imagine it actually like anyone actually using it seriously.
What are your thoughts on this, Joe?
I'm definitely getting this for Christmas. No, I'm kidding, but
Get it for that special someone.
it's interesting. Like you said, it's kind of a gimmick. I can see it getting over for that. I mean, I doubt it'll last long just because of, obviously who's gonna, people aren't gonna want to keep getting that. It's gonna be just, weird to them. But, at the same time, I really, I give them credit for doing something different, at least outside the box, and thinking of something we need to do. You can't really fault them for that. In terms of I'll ever try, I highly doubt you'll ever see me wearing pizza perfume, but you never know.
I highly doubt we'll see you wearing perfume, period. But
well, there you go.
You never know.
Most you get out of me is maybe body spray, maybe, but even that's a stretch. And
I wear that, so that's different though. That's guy
yeah.
stuff. Maybe if they put out pizza body spray, I'll buy some of that.
Pizza cologne, there you go.
Sure.
But
pizza deodorant.
In terms of perfume, I really don't know who would want to wear this. Like, you could see a guy doing it as a joke, like to his girlfriend, like you said. But even then, it's like you're gonna get yourself so far in a doghouse, it's not even funny. And it's like I'm not even sure that's even worth that. And to me, it's kind of like, I don't even know what to think of it, to be honest. I don't know where it's gonna go or what it'll lead to, but hey, I'm interested to see where it goes. At least I'm interested to see where, if anyone does pick up on it, so it becomes a huge hit.
Yeah, this is actually the first time I've even heard of this, so this is new to me.
I heard about it the other day, but Joe actually reminded me earlier. He was going through news topics, and I actually have to ask you, Joe, because you were the biggest pizza fan I know. If you had a girlfriend, would you want her to smell like pizza?
No.
That answers that.
It's something she wanted to do, maybe as a joke, then once or twice, okay. But if this was something she actually was serious about and wanted to do, I'd question my girlfriend there. I think we all would question them.
Would this get your motor running?
I don't think so. It'd make me hungry.
Not the kind of motor she wants.
It'd make me hungry, but that's about it.
All right, we have one more topic before we get into the Christmas ones, which is pretty equally strange. I'm going to hand it over to you, Joe, because this topic's all yours. But apparently there's a driving school for dogs now in New Zealand.
Yes, actually, I got this off the BBC news site, so it's BBC, so it has to be something at least somewhat relevant. It's a charity in New Zealand teaching rescue dogs how to drive a car. The canine driving school is aimed at proving how intelligent animals can be. Monty the giant schnauzer is among the novice drivers who have learned to control the brakes, gears, and steering wheel. I really just picked this because it was amusing to me, but at the same time, it's kind of fun just to hear dogs driving. It kind of makes me feel, I don't know, I can't drive, so it makes me feel a little, wow.
So they're actually teaching dogs how to drive cars.
Yeah, I guess it's trying to show how talented they are. It's a charity, I guess.
What a strange day when you wake up and you hear about pizza perfume and teaching dogs how to drive cars. What's happening to the world? I don't even say that in a negative way, so much as a strange way. What's going on?
We live in a very strange age, my friend.
Yes, we do.
So soon, dogs will be driving us around. They'll be the taxi drivers in Chicago.
Hey, I'd be fine with that personally. You probably won't. You don't like dogs, but what are your thoughts on this, DF?
Well, I guess if they can have cars now in California that drive around without anybody inside of them,
What?
Yeah, in California, Google developed this car that doesn't need a driver, and apparently they've been secretly driving them around for a year or something like that. But
wow.
But I guess
I could go for those.
I guess if they can drive around without anybody in the car, I guess a dog can drive around too. I mean, a dog. I might actually feel more comfortable about a dog driving me around than a computer, because if Joe's internet and our problems over the years with computers are any example, I think that the world would be in a very bad place if suddenly computers took over the ability to drive.
Yeah, the idea sounded good to me until you just said that, because now I'm picturing us in Chicago getting into this cab and it just starts going nuts and takes us all over the city.
It takes you to Iowa when you tell them to go to Lions.
It'd be like License to Drive, but with an actual computer driving the car.
Oh man. And how would you even pay these cabs? Maybe they just keep the doors locked until you pay, put the money in the machine.
I think it might be the self checkout at Walmart or something.
Maybe it's a payphone where you put the money in beforehand.
Probably. It stops when let's say you put in $10, and then if you if you need to go like someplace where it's like $20 or something, it stops in the middle of the road and is like, to get to your destination, please insert another $10 or something.
I'll tell you what might actually be a good idea though is like remote controlled cars where like the cab drivers like sit in this like their cab station, they like send the cars out and they're like controlling it with a remote control, like looking at the monitor or something. That might be interesting.
That's an interesting idea.
I'm picturing kind of like a video game or something where they're like driving with the wheel and like looking at a screen, and it's kind of like that.
That would be pretty cool. That's an interesting idea. It'd be kind of fun to like actually be the person that was controlling the cars too, like sitting in this room and like, I don't know, it'd be like a video game or something almost.
Exactly. Maybe you could like send that out to, maybe if you like don't feel like leaving the house someday, but if you need like food, you could like send your car out to go get a pizza or something, and just be like, oh, I have my car outside and it has money in it, so just bring the pizza out and take the money. And
I could live with that.
Yeah, there you go. Speaking of food, I'm actually going to jump into my Christmas topic for the week, which is actually favorite Christmas foods. I tried to come up with something a little more creative. I know you said you liked the idea, so that's good. And I think we talked about it last year, but I don't actually remember if we talked about it last year or not. But who cares? I mean, it's favorite Christmas foods. We could all talk about this forever. I'll probably start off here. For me, Christmas Eve is kind of like the day that we do most of our celebrating. Like on Christmas Day, we like go over to my grandmother's and we eat like the typical like Thanksgiving stuff, like turkey and ham and all that. And that stuff is great. But at the same time, it's like you had that last month for Thanksgiving, so it's like, it's neat. It's kind of like Thanksgiving too. I mean, I wouldn't want to not do it because it's kind of tradition. But for me, like I always look forward to what we do on Christmas Eve, and that we usually get either Chinese food or pizza. Like I'm always the guy that like demands Chinese food. My mom's like, no, pizza. This is our tradition. I'm like, no, we got Chinese food for years. How is it a tradition when we like broke it? And she's like, well, you broke it, and I didn't want to break it. So we always kind of argue like whether we should get Chinese food or pizza. And I think one year we actually like compromised, and she got pizza and I got Chinese food. But last year I think I just got pizza with her. But either way, it's kind of fun to just kind of get that stuff. It's like a takeout night. We kind of bring that back, and we wait for it to get dark, and we eat like the pizza or Chinese, and then we go like under the tree and open the presents and stuff. So that's always really fun, and that's kind of like my Christmas Eve thing. I as far as like other foods, one thing I really love on Christmas is like those butter cookies. I think I talk about those every year.
Oh, they're so good.
Yeah, that's kind of like a Christmas tradition for me. Like I eat those every year around Christmas time. That's like the only time I really eat them. Like I could go out and get them anytime, but it's kind of like a Christmas thing. I want them around Christmas, or I probably get sick of them and they become like a normal food. So I really love to eat those around Christmas time. My mom gets me those every year, like the little can of them. Like candy canes and stuff. I don't really eat those that much, but they're kind of like a Christmas staple. And other than that, I'm not trying to think of stuff I eat on Christmas. Really, just kind of like the pizza or Chinese food is kind of like the main thing for us. How about you, TF?
Well, as far as Christmas Eve goes, we usually have a little like get together with family, and we have some food around too. It's not like a lot of stuff because we're trying to we don't want to like overdo like Christmas Day, which like you said, it's kind of like Thanksgiving 2.0. But as a general rule, we have stuff like we just have like maybe like I don't really know what to call it, but like I'll just skip to some other stuff. Like we usually have like some Christmas cookies, like bake some Christmas cookies, which I always like. I think I actually like baking Christmas cookies more than I like eating them, but it's still fun. Just sometimes having our cousins come over, the kids, and like bake Christmas cookies, and usually have stuff like cheese and crackers, just kind of small stuff that won't like steal the show. But
since you like baking cookies so much, you can bake the cookies. I'll eat them.
Okay, I'm good with that. But as far as like Christmas foods go, we usually have some stuff like oh man, what is that stuff called? Well, a lot of times we have eggnog too, which I actually am not that big of a fan of, but everyone else likes it. And
I've never had that before.
But basically, we just kind of like just put all this random stuff out there, like kind of small snack stuff, almost like hors d'oeuvre type things, and sometimes we'll have like
the cocktail weenies and
stuff like that, and maybe sometimes we'll like shrimp and whatever that stuff is that you put it that you like what is that called? Like
Dip?
I don't know, something like that. But yeah, I mean, we'll have dip, we'll have
Oh,
chips.
like guacamole?
Yeah, like, well, that's not with the not with the shrimp, but yeah, sometimes my aunt will make some stuff like some dips and guacamole, and we'll have like these chips, and it's just fun, I mean, just little stuff, but we just put a ton of it out there, so it's just like all this stuff to snack on, and we'll watch Christmas movies, and I think that really is not so much about like the food being great, but just the fact that we're kind of all eating it together, and kind of like setting the tone for the next day, and we're gonna have like a big feast, and
That does sound very cozy to me.
it's just really nice. Like it kind of goes to show you that I can't even really remember a lot of the stuff that we eat, but it's just the fact that the food is there and we're all eating it and we're all like looking forward to the next day is great. But yeah, I love Christmas cookies. I love making them more than I like eating them. But I usually kind of overindulge in the candy, like candy canes, and there's these things that I only usually see around Christmas, and that's these like white chocolate covered Oreo cookies, which I really love those, and
Those are good.
and yeah, I mean that's usually the kind of stuff we eat on Christmas Eve. I mean, obviously there's more to the Christmas season than just Christmas Eve, but that's kind of our tradition here at home and in my house.
What do you do on Christmas Day?
No, on Christmas Day we basically have like you said, like Thanksgiving 2.0, except usually we have ham, whereas on Thanksgiving we don't always have ham, but it's basically turkey, stuffing, and my mom makes this really good macaroni and cheese. It's like homemade, and it is really nothing at all like the macaroni and cheese that you would imagine, but the typical stuff, turkey, like I said, ham, stuffing, and mashed potatoes. Like my sister usually puts together like some sweet potatoes, and my aunt sometimes she brings over stuff like tamales and what do you call it? This really tasty stuff. It has like it's kind of like these, like you just talked about, like those cocktail weenies. It's kind of like that, only in like it's in this like really hot sauce, and it's just, I don't really know how to describe it, but correctly, but it's really good. And we always like have a bunch of pies. Like that's kind of like our thing. We always have like pies and cheesecake, and it's really just a great meal, and it's something that I think I'm looking forward to more this year than ever, because Thanksgiving kind of wasn't that great with the food because I was sick, but I guess that just makes it even more exciting to kind of have a really special meal this year.
Well, that sounds like really good to me. What about you, Joe? What do you usually eat on Christmas time? Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, all around the season?
Typically, traditionally, like going by like just usual Christmases, Christmas Eve really isn't like I don't want to say like not like a major deal, but like food wise, it's not really like a high priority. It's kind of just like the day, it's just kind of like a regular day food wise. I mean, it's obviously Christmas Eve otherwise, but just food wise, it's not really a big day. The big day is like Christmas usually, where it's kind of, the big thing for us is we have ham too, but it's mostly like tamales and ham. It's like a mixture, because some people like tamales, some people like ham. So it's kind of like tamales are kind of like the Christmas food. The one time out of the year, maybe if my grandmother feels in the mood, it'll be like maybe like another day randomly. But most of the time it's just tamales. Kind of like the butter cookies to you, where it's kind of like only once a year.
I love the tamales. That's like a Christmas tradition.
Yeah, see,
I don't think I've ever had them before.
Yeah, they're pretty good. I mean, like I'm not even a chili eater like that much. I don't, it's like ketchup to me. I don't eat chili, but I can eat them on tamales. I can tolerate them then. So that tells you how good I think of them. So, in terms of this year, it's going to be a little different. I'm not even sure what we're doing for Christmas, to be honest with you. It's kind of like disorganized in that sense, and has been for a while. But Christmas Eve, I know we're going to the Golden Corral like early this time. That way we avoid any like major rush like Thanksgiving. So at least if we get there like a little, with a lot of line, we'll be able to get inside of there and not have to, at a reasonable time, not to wait till like huge, like by the time it's closing to get in there. Christmas Day, I really don't know what's on the horizon food wise. I don't know if we're gonna, like my mom's gonna make stuff, and they're gonna make stuff here, or if we're just gonna eat normal. I don't know, to be sure. So I really can't comment too much on that. I just know like Christmas Eve is probably going to be the Golden Corral if that's open. We really didn't see like a flyer for that to see if it was open or not, like we did with Thanksgiving. But assuming it is, it'll be that. And I'm guessing maybe even some, probably just whatever they bring, really, like ham or whatever. I really don't know. Like, I am unsure. Like, this Christmas is kind of unsure to me of a lot of things, so I'm really not sure what's gonna happen. It's kind of weird. It's kind of like a surprise Christmas in the sense of you not knowing what's gonna happen. Like, in a good way, it's kind of like a good surprise, I guess. You really don't know what you're gonna expect.
So most people unwrap their presents. You unwrap your food and see what you get.
There you go. Watch me get like a pea or something for Christmas dinner.
A pea?
There you go.
What?
Here's your Christmas dinner. Here's a pea.
Oh.
A mushroom. Carve the Christmas mushroom.
There you go. That would be pretty fitting.
Well, how about hand it over to you, Joe? What's your Christmas topic for the week?
My Christmas topic is actually kind of you actually touched on earlier. What you got, you got other people. I actually want to hear what you guys want this year. Like, what are some of the gifts? Because every year gets harder when you get older because either you get the stuff you want already yourself, or you're kind of at that age where it's kind of like, well, obviously you're not gonna get toys and stuff like that, except for like TF. He always gets the toys and stuff. He always wants toys. And
What?
this and that. I'm just kidding, but
Adult toys.
there you go.
Well, I am known for calling like adult toy stores. around
Okay.
here.
Anyways, I want to hear what you guys like. Maybe some things you want this year, not necessarily things you know you're going to get, because obviously there's those gifts that you put or you tell someone that you want. Maybe something you wish for. And before you say Chad, do not say a girlfriend. Okay?
Ah, you know me too well.
I do.
That's exactly what I was going to say. Well, I do want a girlfriend, so I'm going to say it, and I don't care what you say. But other than that, I don't know, man. Like, the older you get, the harder it gets, because when you're a kid, you have like all these things. You have no money when you're a kid. Like, you might have an allowance or something, but you don't. You have all this big stuff that you want, like a new game console or something. And obviously, it'd be nice to get like a Kinect or something, but I really don't need a new game console. I can't even.
That's the thing. It's not what you necessarily need. It's more like maybe something fun, like you said, like a Kinect. Sure, like that. That's like something fun.
Well, that's what I'm thinking. I'm trying to think of things I really even want, and like a Kinect, like it'd be fun, but I have a feeling like after a week it might get old like the Wii or something, and I would feel kind of like that's a waste. But
You're gonna get the Wii U? No, I'm kidding.
I can't even really think of any games that I want because like there's like no Sonic games coming out, and I already got WWE 13. DVD wise, I usually ask for a bunch of DVDs, although I'm kind of doing that less now because DVDs are kind of fading out a little bit, and I'm kind of getting it more into like downloading stuff digitally. But I actually did ask for the CM Punk DVD just because I saw that I saw it and I thought it was like really, really good. I thought it was like one of the best DVDs that WWE ever put out, so I did ask for that. I asked for the last season of Smallville because that is the last season in my collection. So once I get that, I'll have like the whole series of Smallville, all 10 seasons. So that would really kind of make me happy. Other than that, like I can't really think of anything. Like I fully expect to get like the usual socks and underwear. Like pretty much everyone gets that from their parents for Christmas. But I don't know. Like yeah, you totally stole my answer with girlfriend. Although I think I might be a little weirded out too if like my mom got me a girlfriend for Christmas.
You kind of wonder where she.
Hey,
got
apparently
from.
she was looking into that.
Yeah, funny story actually. I should mention this. The other day at the Chinese place, like my mom was trying to tell me like you need a girlfriend, you need to talk to girls, and I'm like, Mom, don't you think I know this? And she's like, you just got to go up and talk to them and ask for them for their number. And I'm like, what? You don't just walk up to girls and ask them for their number? And she's like, yes, they do.
Please tell me this led to a moment like this with someone in a Chinese restaurant.
Oh,
Hold on.
kind of.
I'm getting it.
Kind of.
Oh, okay. Go
I'm
ahead.
getting it. She said you just walk up to someone and ask for their number, and I'm like, you don't do that. And she's like, yes, they do. That's what they do. Trust me. Guys ask me for guys ask me for my number. And I'm like, well, they're braver than me. Like, I don't want to be looked at as some creepy guy. Like, she's like, no, you don't look looked at as creepy. That's what you do. And I'm like, okay, whatever you say. And she's like, well, look, I'm gonna go up to some random guy and flirt with him. And I'm like, no, don't do that. So she walks up to like this Asian man that works there at the Chinese restaurant, and she's like, I'm gonna go flirt with that guy. And I'm like, Mom, don't you do it. No. I was like begging her, like I did not want to be humiliated as she like walks up and flirts with this random Asian man. Thankfully, she didn't do it, but I didn't want that to happen. Come on, it'd be weird.
I was hoping the opposite. I was hoping she'd be like, it'd be like a show where you'd be like, that doesn't happen. And she's like, yes, it does. And she's like, I'll prove it. Go up to like this random girl there and like ask for a number. Or I would really want to see that happen. Actually, you wouldn't do it, but I would want to see her like.
We are way off topic here, but I just gotta mention here that I I cannot see how someone could do that. Apparently, that's what you do. I mean, hey, it works for a lot of guys. Like, maybe we're just not doing it right. But could either of you guys
don't do
just
it,
imagine?
right, but you haven't done it, so that's kind of the key.
Yeah, but could either of you guys just like imagine walking up to this random girl, being like, "Hey, can I have your number?"
I would.
Like, that's so horrifying.
I feel like I was like trying to be Fonzie or something.
Yeah, I'd feel like creep. Like, she's thinking like, "Oh, go away," and then she'd like go home and tweet about this creepy guy that was like hitting on her. I mean, maybe I obviously probably do think the worst, but I mean, you read stuff like that. I mean, you like read about your friends, like this creepy guy hit on me today, and you don't want to be like on the other end of that. Am I wrong?
I think that's just kind of something that comes with the territory, though, unfortunately, and that's something that we try to shy away from. But at the same time, I mean, I guess that's kind of why we're still sitting here alone, because we're just not the type to push things on people, and I see that as a plus and a minus. I think that it can be good and bad.
Would you ever do this, Joe? Just like, well, I guess you might, because you've done some pretty strange things. Just walk up to girls, you like walk up and give them money, but
in a sense, I kind of did do this for like an email address, but I don't really consider it like a phone number. I mean, like, phone number is kind of more personal. I mean, like just asking someone for like, hey, do you have like MSN or an email or something like that? I mean, to me, that's kind of different there in that sense of I don't know. To me, it doesn't feel as impersonal. Like, do you feel personal when someone says, "Can I have your email?" I mean, to me, that doesn't really seem as bad. Of course, back then, email was like the main form of communication back when I'm talking about, but now it's kind of like you say Skype or your, I don't know, your phone number, your not cell phone number, like your FaceTime or whatever you use. But
I would love it if a girl walked up to me and asked me for my email.
Well, they didn't ask me, I asked them. That's what I'm saying. But I don't know if I can see it from me in that sense. I mean, honestly, for me to even do that in the first place was kind of a stretch at the time. But I think in a sense, I kind of feel that if it's the right person and you kind of like feel comfortable enough, like not just a random person, but like maybe someone you kind of know, or maybe someone you just have a good feeling about, you'll go up to them and you'll say that. But it kind of has to be the right person when you think about it. You're not just gonna go up to some random girl and say that. You have to have like an interest in this girl, or confidence in her.
Because it really does help if you really, really like someone, because then something just kind of comes over you to where it's like, this is just meant to happen, and that unfortunately hasn't really happened for me yet.
Honestly, with what your mom says, it's probably true of what a lot of people say. It's like they always like, I don't know, like when you said that, it kind of just felt like a TV show to me. Like someone, their mom just randomly saying, "It's so easy to do," back in my day, and I guess not even her day, because she was gonna go for the Asian guy, but. It's so easy for them, but it's a different time period.
And she's a girl. It's not as hard for girls. I know any girls that may be listening are going to be listening to this thinking I'm wrong.
That is so true, though. Like, it is nothing like asking someone out if you're a girl when you're a guy. You're a lot of times seen as some kind of predatory creature, and it just makes it very awkward and hard and
exactly
just not good.
I would, just as like an experiment. None of us would ever do it. But I would like to see like one of us actually like attempt this sometime. It would never happen. It probably won't happen. But just
I would do it if we were all in Chicago and we all did it at the same, like not at the same time.
Yeah, I would hope
if we like
at the same time.
We could make like no. Imagine we like made a contest out of it. Like each of us has to go up to a girl, and the first one to get a number like wins or something like that. That sounds like that episode of Fresh Prince where like Will and Carlton were doing that.
See, for me, I just want to see it done like as a general experiment, not like a contest. Just like one of us doing that to see if it actually like to test that theory.
Yeah, but that might actually take some of the edge off. I think if we just kind of like made a game.
No, I know what
it.
you're saying. I'm just saying like I just want to see like any of us test the theory in general. Just like see if that actually does work. Like, obviously, you're never going to see the girl again, even if she tweets about it. If you don't say her name like a dummy, then obviously she won't know. Like if you just go up to the girl and like make a small talk like, hey, we're gonna have your number, then even if she says no or thinks you're a creep, she's not gonna know your name. Even if she says on the internet, I met this creepy guy tonight, she's not gonna say like, oh, I met this creepy guy named Chad, unless you like automatically say that. But
all right, I don't want to put you guys on the spot and make you nervous, but the next time we're going to Chicago, I am like seriously thinking of like us doing this, like each of us just walking up to a girl and asking for their number, just as an experiment, because obviously there's very little chance that it would work out with some girl in Chicago, but
even if it did,
we should try it.
What if we like met the girl of our dreams in Chicago and then we had to leave?
At the very least, it would boost our confidence, though.
This is true. Very, very true.
But getting back to the topic at hand, There is actually something I'd really love to have, and I'd really like to have one of those like tablets, like an iPad or something. Like I'm not usually interested in stuff like that, but speaking of trips, whenever I think about trips, like I never want to take my laptop. Like TF always takes his, but he usually takes like the car or the bus, so it's easier. I really don't want to take one on a plane, and I'm just I really don't like the idea of carrying it around all week because I'd be afraid of it getting stolen or, just dropping it or something. So for me, if I had like one of those pads or something, I think it would be awesome to I think it'd be great for passing time on the plane. Be great for passing time in airports. If I were stuck there again in like a hotel for a week, it'd be nice to have that. I think it would just be really convenient, and I think that's probably at the top of my list right now. But other than that's about it. What about you, TF? What do you want for Christmas this year?
To me, a lot of the fun of just receiving Christmas gifts is not really knowing what it is and being like, well, what could this be? So, like, in some cases, that can even be why sometimes I seem disappointed when I open something up, because to me, the fun of it all is thinking like, oh, what could this be? Like, it could be something crazy, or it could be something like amazing, and just the excitement building up to it is really what makes it so great to me. So,
you wanted my gift to be a live chicken, didn't you?
Yeah, I wanted it to. No, not really, but I mean, just the thought about it is like, well, oh God, what if this is like something like crazy and it's like going to change my life? But no, I mean, really, I think that pretty much anything, as long as I really have no clue what it could be, is exciting to me and is fun. But to actually like list off some things, it really, to me, anything that's like an electronic device or something is cool to me. Like you just mentioned, like an iPad or some kind of like a tablet thing, and like I really would like one of those too. I mean, obviously, I don't think I'm going to be getting one of those, but to me, anything electronic is usually pretty cool and fun. And as far as specific things, like maybe like accessories for my computer, like I'm always up for something like that, like maybe a new mouse or like a new pair of headphones or something, or maybe something I can put to use, like maybe something for like in the car, like I don't know, just something that I can use every day and say, hey, this is useful. But as far as specifics go, I'm not really very good at like just naming off these things that I want, because I mean, if I wanted to go like really, really big, I probably could, and just say like, oh, I want a new car, or like I want a boat. But to me, it's really just the excitement of like wondering what a gift could be that's really exciting to me. So I'm kind of excited just to get gifts in general and to give gifts and stuff. So it's just a great time of year. It's fun all around, and whatever I get this year, I'm sure it'll be useful, and that I'll have fun with it. And I've already gotten a gift from you, Chad. I mean, I've eaten a couple of them, so I've put that gift to use already.
They changed your life? No, not really. I'm like,
as you said, diabetes, so that would change my life.
Yeah, then you'd hate me forever. But as you said that boat thing, I was like picturing like your mom like waking you up on Christmas, like, look out the window, son. You look out the window and see a boat, and you're like, whoa!
Wasn't that an episode of Doug where like he pictured himself getting a boat or something like that?
I don't remember. I think it was something crazy. I don't know if it was a boat, but
I just remember like his dad like getting him some kind of boat or something. I don't remember. It's a long time, but.
What do you want for Christmas, Joe? Working internet?
Well, that'd be nice. I was gonna say a house, jokingly, but an internet would be good too. And it gets kind of hard for me too. Like I came up with this topic just because it interested you guys, but for me, it's kind of hard. In a sense, I'm kind of like you in a sense that I would want like a tablet or something, but I wouldn't want like an expensive tablet. I wouldn't want like one of those like new like $100 like few $100 ones, just because I really don't want people to spend that much on me. You know what I mean? It's like I'm kind of old school with that too. It's like the reason I would want it is because I could take it like in the car and like listen to music and the radio and stuff. Like to me,
you know what else would be nice is like if your internet did go out, it has like 3G, so that it would still work.
Yeah, and to me, it's like I don't want like something new. Like up until earlier this year, and I still kind of can use it for like stuff I have on there. I had like this MP3 player I had since like 2005, 2006. I used to use it for the radio, like when I go in the car. Like, I've had it for so long, it works so well. It was like, I didn't feel the need to like upgrade to like an iPod or MP or whatever. It was just an MP3 player. It was an old school MP3 player. At the time, it cost like $70, and now it probably costs like $10 or $20. But You know, it served me well, but it doesn't, like, I told you about this weird occurrence to me, like, randomly one day where it like stopped moving the stations, and I could only like keep changing the station and keep going like the same station, like this Christian station and stuff like that. And I guess it kind of just wore out. You know, it's kind of like it doesn't want to change stations anymore. So I kind of want one of those tablets just to kind of have something different. You know, I'm a big music guy when I'm like in the car and stuff like that. I have my PSP, which does play music and stuff like that I put on there, but I kind of like the thrill of like listening to the radio and kind of listening to new songs and stuff.
I mean, totally get that.
Yeah, during the summer, I kind of had like a really good feel with the music scene, as good and bad as it was. I could listen to like different types of music, and I haven't really been able to do that lately because I don't have the internet, and
I don't do that because I hate 80% of it.
Yeah, I change it when I don't like something, but at the same time, it's kind of like you never know if you find like a good song you never would have found normally. You know what I mean?
That's true.
Like actually, when you before I came back, I actually heard like that new Taylor Swift song on the radio. It was like brand new at the time. So
which song?
We're never ever getting back together one.
Oh,
like I heard
love
that. Yeah, like I heard that like just as it came out. So to me, it was kind of like I was caught up in that sense, and now I kind of don't have that. It's kind of like I'm missing something from that outlet. So I kind of like that. I haven't even like put together my stuff that I want yet, just because I'm like so indecisive. But that's something I'm probably not going to put on there, just because I know them. They would go for like the expensive one. I really don't like that, but
put it on, Joey.
But it's kind of I definitely want that CM Punk DVD too. I haven't even seen it. You told me it's good, so I kind of going off your recommendation. But
you'll love it. It'll make you love pro wrestling again. Like it did for me.
I always put stuff on my list, like a DVD or so, just because, like in a sense, it was kind of funny because like everyone wanted to give me money. My grandmother was like, no, get him gifts, just because I guess you want the Christmas spirit. And I can see that. It's just hard for me, like some years to like you said with games. There are some games that might be fun just to try. Like I can't even think of any off the top of my head. I would have to like look them up. But same time,
everything out now is like shooters.
At the same time, it's something like I don't want people spending like $60 on a game that's fun, but who knows if I'll like it or not. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
In terms of like other stuff, I'm trying to think of anything else I kind of need. I really don't. Like the reason I love this time of year, like even though I can't really give too much because I don't have like obviously we had our trip and I spent a lot of money. I try to get what I can, but I love just seeing people's reactions to gifts. Like not even sometimes not even the gifts you give, just the gifts they get. Just it's kind of like I have cousins and a little brother, and you have a sister, and TF has his brother and sister. It's kind of like when you see their reactions to presents and see them like get this excited look or get this look of what could it be.
I wish I could say I relate to this, but a lot of times she gets angry looks like, why did you get me this?
What?
My sister can be like that. I think all sisters can be like that sometimes.
Did she is there any time she's actually really enjoyed a gift? Like this?
Oh yeah. But a lot of times, like at least once every year, she'll get something. She's like, oh, and she like throws it to the side. And my mom or me will get like this look of disappointment, like we went out and got this, and she doesn't want it. Like I think it was like last year, like my mom got her some Justin Bieber DVD or something, and she's like, Kenzie's like, Justin Bieber, he's old news, and she like threw it to the side. Yeah.
Though to me, it's like my joy out of Christmas these days is seeing other people get gifts now. It's not so much about me; it's about like other people. And I never used to get that. Like when I was a kid, and I used to see like my grandmother and my grandfather say, no, I don't want any gifts. It's not. It's for the kids. And now I kind of get that in a sense. And I'm not really saying this like bragging because I've never really even like told the story. I think only like my stepdad knew this. Like one year, my little that John Cena DVD. Like one year, my little brother wanted that DVD like badly for his Christmas list. And
the Experience one.
Yeah, from like a couple of years ago, but yeah. He like wanted it like really badly. Like it was on his list, and he was like hoping for it. And I unwrapped it and I got it, and he didn't get it. And I was like, he really wanted it. He like looked at mine. He was like, we had it. And, I pretty much like got one of his boxes. I was on the ground. I was like, putting that DVD in there. And I was like, oh look, you forgot it. And, just seeing his face when he saw that, and he was like, oh, like that's what he wanted. That to me is the joy of Christmas more so than like what you get. I just brought this topic up because we talk about what we get people all the time, but I want to see like as adults what we want to get, what we would like from each other. So
you are a very good person, Joseph.
Well, to me, like I said, I don't really want to say that to brag. It's just like, when I was a kid, sometimes you put stuff on your list and you never got it. You're kind of like, as a kid, you're kind of like, you would have liked that. It's like you got to do that for people. It's like, to me, that's the one time of the year you should do that for people. You should go out of your way to try and make it the best Christmas you can for them.
I still remember the year I asked for an N64, and my mom got me a Super Nintendo. And even though I was like somewhat disappointed, at the same time I was still excited because it was something new. But that immediately came to mind there.
Yeah.
Like I don't think I've ever really had any huge disappointment moments for Christmas. We should actually make that a topic for next week.
Yeah, I was thinking
Christmas disappointments.
I don't even remember what year it was. It's not worth saving because I don't even remember what it was. But I remember it was like one year I was looking for something. That was actually the year I got the go-kart, so it kind of made up for that. But I remember what it was I didn't get. It was like some type of like activity table or something. It had like a bunch of stuff you could do on there. I don't know. It's kind of funny because years later they got it from like my cousins and stuff, and they barely even use it. But, yeah, that was my topic. I thought it was just fun to like talk about what we would want out of our gifts.
It was.
I do gotta say though that thing you're talking about having something that had like a radio in it, like a MP3 player with a radio in it. I could really use one of those too because I have an iPod, but it's not the one that has the like radio on it. And like
See, I didn't even know there were ones that didn't have radio on. I thought they all had radio. So I
would love to have something that had like a radio on it because I do listen to the radio a lot.
Yeah, it's just one of those things where it's like, you have your songs you listen to, we all do, but sometimes you want to like listen to something different, and you don't want to like just randomly say, oh, I'm gonna listen to something different. You want to like
there's something exciting about just like not knowing what's up next.
Yeah, exactly.
You could find something new.
What, Joe?
I don't know if you have that feeling of like.
Sometimes it's nice to listen to different stuff, but I'm kind of different than you in that I have like my favorite songs, and I don't listen to like the same songs every day or anything like that. But I kind of like to prefer to listen to music that I know I like. Like I do like to hear like a new song once in a while that I like, but I really don't listen to the radio often because even though I don't really hate like modern music as much as I did like a year or two ago, because I have kind of started to find some stuff that I like. Like 80% of the stuff I hear on the radio, I automatically know I don't like it, like Rihanna or Lady Gaga or whatever, and that's like what I hear mostly on the radio. So I'm really not a big radio guy, to be honest.
You live in a small town too, so I imagine there probably aren't too many like varied radio stations out there. I mean,
not really.
Here you have like a pop station, you have like a rock station, you have like a rap station, you have all kinds of stations, so you don't have to listen to one. You have like a mixture station.
Here you have like one like pop station, and you have like a country station, and you have like an oldies station, and the oldies one's probably the one I would like most likely listen to like the most, but even that I don't really listen to that much anymore.
It's like a radio station locally here. I don't even think it's locally. I think it's like everywhere. It has like Mario Lopez on it like nightly.
I will say it was kind of fun when we used to listen to like the online radio stations, and we would play like this game, and TF and me actually played a variation of it once where we did like this game called Radio Roulette. We did like a variation of it where, you remember this, TF, where like a song would come up, like I think it was like TF got like a song called Mean Woman or something. And he had to like go post like on someone's Facebook like you're a mean woman or something like that.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah,
there's
and like
kinds of funny Angel radio.
We're listening to that oldie station too, and that song came on, that like Johnny Angel song or whatever, and you were like, oh, you have to go make a thread on the forum that we used to go to that says like I wish my name was Johnny, and like post that video, and that one person responded like, me too, I really wish my name was Johnny, and we were like, Oh
man, good times.
Yeah.
What's your Christmas topic for the week, TF?
Well, for me, I was actually thinking, because today I did a little Christmas shopping, I wanted to talk about like Christmas shopping, which you actually kind of already talked about, but not so much Christmas shopping that we've done this year, but the good, the bad, and really like you love it or hate it, or it's kind of a topic that everyone has a different opinion on, and I was kind of curious like what you guys thought about Christmas shopping, and not so much just like Christmas shopping online, but Christmas shopping in general.
Well, I do most of my Christmas shopping online these days, but I do kind of look through the stores. But the thing is that my mom and my grandmother are always with me when I'm shopping, so it's kind of hard to shop for them. So it's really convenient for me to just get their gifts online, but I really like it. Like a lot of people, like they kind of have this thing where they're like, oh, I don't know what to get this person. They kind of see it as like a chore, and I don't really see it as a chore. I actually enjoy like going through and picking out like these unique things, and almost to a fault, because like a lot of times like someone might hint at something that they want from me, and I'm like, no, this is my thing. I have control over what I'm getting you. Like kind of like this thing where it's like I want to pick out something myself more so than get them what they actually want, and that's kind of wrong in some way, but I don't know, that's just kind of the way I am. Like I like getting someone something. I have this idea in mind for someone, and it's like I have to go out and seek this out, but I've gotten a little better about that throughout the years. Like, I've gotten my sister a few things she wanted, and I actually have kind of a story to go along with this. I just talked about it in general, but actually, like, one of the worst experiences I ever had Christmas shopping was in, like, 2007. That was, like, the year when I, like, came into some money after I'd been waiting for years for some money, and I got some money, and I was going to go all out for Christmas, and I actually got my mom a laptop for Christmas, and I found one online, and do not buy laptops online, because I got her a Dell, and it lasted, like, maybe 2 months, and
Dell laptops are notoriously bad, though.
Yeah, I learned my lesson with that, and she's, to this day, she says she still appreciates it, because she was just so happy that I would, go out and get her a laptop. Like, she never obviously asked for it, and she's very much a giving person too. Like, she likes getting gifts, but she really goes all out for me and Mackenzie. Like, she gets us a whole bunch of stuff, and she's like, oh, don't go too crazy for me, but I wanted to go crazy for her, because she's always, like, went out of her way to make Christmas special for us, and I wanted to get her something special, and I really regretted that the laptop only lasted like a year or two, but every year since, I haven't really went like that over the top since then, but I've tried to get her something nice. Like, one year I got her like that camera I always bring to Chicago. I got her like the same thing, and she really liked that, and I always just try and put thought into it. Like, when I was a kid, like, she would always ask for a candle, so I would always, like, go get her a candle, and that was, like, my big tradition. And even to this day, like, I'll get her a candle with something else that I get. Like, I'll get her, like, a camera or something, and then I'll throw in, like, a candle just because she does love those. And my sister, she's kind of getting at this age where it's, like, really hard to shop for her. Like, it was easy when she was a kid because you could just, like, get her a bunch of toys and stuff. And now she's, like, entering, like, the teenage years, and then, like, I don't know what to get a teenage girl. Like, she always, like, asks for Twilight stuff, but then I, like, don't know what she has, because she has all this Twilight stuff, and that kind of makes it hard. So I ended up getting her something this year. I don't want to spoil it, because I know she might listen to the podcast. I don't think so. I doubt it.
Well, I was going to say, will she listen?
She has before,
wow.
But she's probably more likely to listen to it than our friend Clark is, to be honest. I'll just say it, because I doubt she got this far, but I actually got her Teen Wolf, that MTV show, on DVD, because she was over here one day watching that with me, and she liked it. And it's kind of like Twilight. I think it's better than Twilight, honestly, but I think she'll like that. And I got her a couple other little things. And my grandmother, she's probably, like, one of the harder ones to shop for too, because I don't know what to get someone her age. Like, I've been getting her, like, tea the past few years, like various, like, gift teas. I think it's probably most fun, to be honest, to shop for you guys. Like, not so much Joe, because he doesn't allow gifts to go to his house, which I will rub in every year because it bothers me. But, like, a couple of years I was, like, giving to charity in his name.
So wait, like, how
what?
What?
I was just going to say, like, how would we even get Joe a gift? Like, I know you said something about getting Joe.
I do get Joe gifts. I just have to be creative about it. Like, sometimes I'll make him, like, a video or, like, a banner or something.
You guys actually made that video that one, you remember?
Because like this year I was thinking, like, I want to get something for Joe, and I'm like, I don't think I could give it to him. So I'm like, what am I going to do here?
It's tough. He makes it very tough, because he says that if we mail him stuff, they'll throw it out or something.
Yeah.
I don't really.
You remember what I told you about that mailbox? Especially here, like at the old house, it was still bad because they stole mail before. But here, they actually have the mailbox, like, right in the front of the lawn for some reason, like right where anyone could just open it and take it. So that is not a very smart move to do. That is why I do not, like, give my address out like that, because I would not want that to happen, where, like, something gets stolen like that. It's just.
If you live in a better neighborhood next year, you better let us send you stuff.
That remains to be seen. I really don't know this neighborhood. I'm always paranoid, because even that old neighborhood we had was pretty good. Never had, like, any problems there. But the idea that people just, it's California. People, like, there's people you don't know. It's not like a small town like you got, or like you are. It's like kind of like TF, where it's kind of like you have to look over your shoulder for this stuff, because you never know when someone's going to steal your mail.
Oh yeah, I know that very well.
And I just don't want that to ever happen, where you guys, like, send me something and either it gets lost in the mail or something like that, or someone steals it. I don't want that to happen.
I get that, but yeah, I mean, you're kind of more hard to get stuff for, because I can't really buy and send you anything, so I usually have to be more creative. It was actually easy a few years ago when we first got Wii's, because, like, they had, like, the gifting option where you could, like, get a game on there and, like, give it to your friend, like, digitally, and that was a really great year. And I think we each got each other a gift on there. I think I got you, like, something like 3, and you got me, like, it was like a basketball game or something.
It was like really, It was like a primitive like arcade type of basketball game. It was kind of humorous.
It was fun.
What was I gonna say? I was gonna say
I don't
something
know.
there, but
As you try to remember, I'll just say that TF and EFD are always really fun to get stuff for too. Because sometimes I'll try and go for like more of a funnier route. Sometimes I'll give them something that I think they might really like or something, or just I don't know. It's just really fun picking stuff out for people.
did you get TS brother anything for like the usual Christmas hygiene?
No, I brought that up because the past few years it's been like a tradition for me. I will always send him something ridiculous, and TF probably hates you for that now, but
It's hilarious. I mean, it's not kind of nerve-wracking sometimes. I'm afraid that it might backfire, but it always makes for a very good laugh.
Remember the first year? I think it was I got him D-pens or something like that.
Yes. And last year you got him that like, what was it called? It was like these pads or something like that were like extra heavy flow, and
you were so horrified you like ran out to the mailbox before you could get them, and I'm still angry at you for this, but I remember the year before he did open up the diaper, and you said he got like this horrified look.
Yeah.
Like, what is this? Like why would Walmart send me this?
This thing was this last massive.
I am thinking about something crazy to send him this year. It's yet to be seen if I will or not, because last year kind of turned me off doing that when TF like took the pads away. But
I think this year it might work out a little better.
I will look around the free samples and see what I can find, because I very much enjoy picturing his reaction to this stuff. But how about you go, Joe?
Actually, what I was gonna say is like for gift shopping, part of the reason like I don't want you guys to get me gifts is because it's kind of hard for me to get you guys gifts. Like I think the only time I ever actually got like a legitimate gift was that one time I got you like that PS2 adapter.
Yeah, I remember that. I was like really surprised. I think that was like the first, aside from like that cookie in 2001, that was like the first time I ever got someone from something online, and I was like, I really appreciated that.
Yeah, see, to me, it's just like I don't have the means for that. It's like we just spent like a ton of money on a trip, so I would feel horribly bad. I couldn't really like make up for that in the same way. To me, it's just better like if you guys get like creative with stuff like that, because I like to get creative with that too, and kind of just do something like kind of like Doug, but not like in that weird sense. Kind of like in the sense where he just makes stuff out of like his own wanting to, more so like.
I get you, and to be honest, I really don't even care what I get. Like one of my favorite gifts I ever got was like a tissue box that TF got me. I laughed really hard at it. It said like
I really liked that. When I saw that, I was like, oh, I have to do this. Like it just was so simple, but like was so us,
Yeah, it was like you said, it was like simple, but it was like the moment made it worth it. Just like me like opening it up, seeing like Australian cough. It was that wacky TF. It was just awesome. Kind of hard to put into words, but it really was like one of my favorite gifts I've ever gotten, as odd as that might sound.
I remember one year I was going to actually get you a gift, and I pointed it out to you because I wasn't really sure like if it was yours or not. And you had like this wish list, and you're like, no, that's actually stuff I get or stuff that I ask for other people to get. So
no,
see if I do what
I realize now that that's like what you're supposed to show other people, but my first few years on Amazon, I always just thought that was like where you like stored stuff that you want to get later.
Yeah, and you were like, oh, I have some of this stuff ready to go, and I'm like, that to me was like, okay, you know what? It's hard to know what to get him because it's like, a wish list like that is probably like stuff he's probably going to get anyways for Christmas, so it's kind of hard to truly know what to get him. Same with like TF. I really wouldn't know what to get him. I could get him something random, but at the same time, it's kind of like, it's like it's hard in that sense. That's kind of my thing with gift giving is that it's kind of hard because like I don't have like the best like, financial means, especially like this year with trip and stuff. But
none of us do, to be honest, man.
The people I do to like try and to get to are the people that really don't get gifts. Like my grandparents refuse to get gifts, so if I can like muster up a little bit of money, even if it's only like $50 or something, I'll try and get like something off with like the internet. Like I did one year, I got like my grandfather like this. I think I even talked about it on the podcast. I'm not sure, but I got like this Elvis car or something like that. Like you like because
yeah, you actually did talk about that last year.
I forgot what I got my grandmother. I got a Toy Story 3, I think, and the year before that, actually like you, I kind of have a hard time because they go with me everywhere to like shops and stuff. So I actually had my my card, so I actually used that to buy. Actually, no, I had cash, and I actually used that to buy their gift, which was actually I know I got my grandmother a Charlie Brown like DVD. I forgot what I got my grandfather, but I kind of bought it myself, and I kind of like kept the bag there to where they couldn't see it. So I was kind of like sneaky with that, but to me, gift giving is kind of hard in a sense, but one day, like when I can get my ground and kind of like have money and stuff like that enough to spend, I want to get like everyone all kinds of stuff. It's something I will take pride in because I haven't been able to always do that. So it's kind of something that I actually look forward to in that sense. Other people don't look forward to it because it's hard, and probably will be hard. But just the idea of being able to do that, it's
gonna get TF his boat.
There you go. It's to match his captain's.
I am patiently waiting.
I'm gonna make it a gold boat too. Why not?
A gold boat.
Oh,
yeah.
I hope it don't sink because that thing's gonna be heavy.
Well, that was the point. No, I'm kidding. But
It'd be like buried, it'd be like
Wow.
treasure one day. I just told me.
I like how that was like a delayed reaction. You had to take like 5 seconds to actually. What?
Didn't know you wanted to witness my demise, but
Merry Christmas, TF.
oh man.
Well, were you all done, Joe?
Yeah, I really don't have. I like Christmas shopping, but I really don't get a chance to do as much of it as I would like. So hopefully something that does work out a lot better than it has.
What about you, TFO?
Well, I really love Christmas shopping. It's always fun, like trying to pick out different things that you think someone might like, and kind of like you said, I like trying to go for some of the offbeat items, things that you might not think of, and kind of like things that I want for myself. I like to buy things that I know people will find useful, like especially like say it's my mom. Like one of my favorite gifts I ever bought anybody was one time when I bought her this coffee maker, and she still uses it today. So it's kind of like just kind of goes to show you that it might not have been like the flashiest gift ever, but it definitely was something that got put to good use. And I always like to think that way when I'm buying something, and I like to buy things that I think maybe nobody else would really think of, like something that you wouldn't really think of so much as getting someone as a gift, but not like clothes or anything like that, because I always think that's kind of like a cop-out almost, although I do like receiving clothes, but as far as giving them, I don't really like doing that, although I do that with my sister sometimes because she actually asks for it. I'm terrible at buying gifts for her, but Christmas shopping...
Sizes can make that hard for me. I don't really want to ask my mom, like what size shirt do you wear or something like that.
Trust me, my sister makes that very well known. But I like online Christmas shopping. It's always fun, like you said, like getting all these packages. I love shopping for you and our friend Clark. It's always fun, like picking out like something unique and interesting for you guys. And like I never can really spend all that much money, so my gifts are kind of just more of kind of like that one time you said with the tissue box. It's kind of just like something that has more like sentimental value than anything, but.
Which is better that way, because I think if we went all out trying to get each other all this crazy stuff, it would be kind of like a contest, and that's not what Christmas should be.
I agree with that. I think that it's better for us to get things that we know that will kind of like bring a smile to each other's faces, not so much something that has the biggest price tag. But I love Christmas shopping in the stores too. It's always so cozy, and I know a lot of people don't really like that, and they think it's really too hectic and it gets crazy. But I love just being a part of that madness and being out there and seeing everyone kind of doing the same thing. Like we're all just a part of this crazy like time of year where everyone's out basically doing the exact same thing, and it's looking for gifts for people. And I think that it's really a fun thing to be a part of, and I love online shopping. It's easier. I like just being able to sit in my room and like basically go shopping, and that's a really cool thing. It's like it's really awesome to live in a day and age where that exists, but there's just something to be said about going to the store actually and like being a part of something, and I love that too. I love Christmas shopping in general. It's always fun, like kind of going on this hunt for something that you can kind of match to a specific person and say, oh, I think they'll like this or I think they'll like that, and it's kind of like this puzzle that when it's all finally finished, and I am a procrastinator, so this usually is like a few days before Christmas, but it's always a fun experience.
I actually anxiously await the day that we have girlfriends and we kind of get to go Christmas shopping for them, because that seems really fun, like kind of going off on this search for this perfect gift for that special someone.
Would be really awesome. I think that really that's kind of one of the times when like we all could kind of come together and say like, well, what do you think about this gift, or what do you think about this one, and we could all like go Christmas shopping together basically to like find stuff for our better halves, I think that. And
then we get them all Pizza Hut perfume, and we're all dumped the next day, so we can kind of console each other.
At least we still have each other.
That's true. Well, all right. It's time for our Christmas reviews, and we actually have two this week because we did one last week, but it didn't record, and I take full blame for that. I was having some issues here, and then Joe's internet was having some issues, so we didn't really get to do it, but I'll actually start off with last week's review, and I know you already did this last week, TF, but none of the people heard it, so tell us a little bit about what you picked.
Well, we've been talking a lot about this special, like, off-air in the weeks before, because I was saying, like, I've been wanting you guys to see this, because, well, Joe has never actually seen the show before, I don't think, other than maybe an episode or two, and you've never seen this episode, and so what I picked was the second season Christmas episode of Glee, which I thought was really one of my favorite Christmas episodes of any show that I've seen thus far, and I thought that it was really great, just kind of sharing this thing that's become kind of a Christmas classic for me over the past few years with you guys finally, and I just love the episode. I love the whole feel of it. It's kind of not so much like the typical like happy ending like Christmas story. It kind of leaves some things open at the end, but all around I think that it just kind of like embodies the spirit of Christmas from the start to the end, and I really love how it kind of parodied really one of my favorite stories of all time, and how the Grinch Stole Christmas with Sue, and just kind of showing how, kind of like us these days, everyone was kind of having their own problems, and things weren't really going their way, but it kind of showed that there's a bigger meaning to Christmas than just personal happiness, and that sometimes Christmas can be a sad time of year for some people, because maybe it might bring back bad memories, or maybe they're just kind of always lost and trying to capture that kind of feeling of when you were a kid and had your first Christmases. And I just all around thought this was just a really feel-good episode, and that even though a lot of it dealt with kind of the hard times around the holidays, I thought that it just kind of brings that essence of what Christmas is really all about. And obviously, some of the simple things, I really thought that the whole storyline with like Brittany still believing in Santa Claus was adorable, and that whole story about them trying to like keep the spirit alive for her. I thought that was just really kind of a cute storyline. I thought that was awesome, and
Santy.
Yeah, Santy. I thought that all of that was really funny, and I could really go on and on about this, but I think really I'm really interested in hearing what you guys thought about it, because I really hope that you guys enjoyed it as much as I did, just because it, like I said, it has become kind of this tradition for me to watch this around the holidays now.
Well, I mentioned it last week, but I think one of my favorite parts of the whole episode was when Mr. Schuster was like talking about how when you're a kid you have like this excitement for Christmas, and as you get older, like that kind of excitement kind of dies out a little bit because all the problems of the world are kind of weighing you down, and you're like trying so desperately to relive that magic from your childhood. And that's probably more than anything in that whole episode was what really hit me, because like I could relate to that, and I think we all can to some degree. Like when we get older, like we start to worry about things, and it's just nice to have this day of the year where you can kind of just go back to childhood and just kind of basically do exactly what he says, like relive your childhood, and it's just really nice to be able to do that. And I really like that part. And you mentioned the whole Sue Grinch thing, and that I mentioned this last week too, but that was like one of the strangest things I have ever seen in the history of TV. But it was hilarious. I mean, she like put like this green like makeup paint stuff on her face, and she was like she had like the girl like carrying her wagon like down the hallway, and she like sneaks in, she's like stealing presents. It was ridiculous, but it was funny, and it was just I really liked the episode. It was a week ago, so I'm trying to remember more, but yeah, those were like the big standout things for me too. I like Brittany on that episode, like TF mentioned, and just a really good episode. It had a good mix of comedy and drama and just everything. It was really heartwarming. I liked it. What do you think, Joe?
For the first time I actually seen a full episode of the show, I thought it was pretty good. It made me want to kind of see more, just because of the atmosphere it had. Like all those Christmas songs, you kind of expect in the musical, obviously, but they did a good job of like intertwining it with the actual storylines. And like they had that scene where Rachel and see, now I forgot the other guy's name because it's been like a week.
Ben.
Yeah, Ben. They were like at Christmas tree shopping. They were like looking for a Christmas tree for the the gang, so they could get it for their performance and stuff. And they kept arguing, and they burst into like Last Christmas, which was actually it really worked well. It just blended well with the scene. I kind of like that. And the whole episode was, like you said, like you mentioned, the Grinch thing. That to me, that character was kind of like just kind of like a house to me. At first it was kind of like she hated Christmas, and I even mentioned it when we were watching it. It was kind of like a house character to me, and then like at the end, she kind of like comes around and actually gets in the Christmas spirit. And that's what I liked about it, is that she had this house-like character, which was different, but at the same time, you saw she had like a heart. And one thing you actually brought up, I think, last week was that she actually had some really screwed up stuff happen to her, so it kind of makes sense for her to be that kind of like character. And I kind of liked it just for that sense of having like these mixture of characters and this, it's a very dynamic thing. And I just really thought it was a good story too, in terms of like the whole believing in Christmas thing, because when I watched that, it's kind of in the back of your mind because you've watched so much TV that obviously it's already aired for a while, so it's not spoiling anything. But that the guy, he's gonna walk somehow. Whether you just know it's gonna happen, whether it's a miracle or whatever. And I just like how they kind of teased it throughout that this was gonna happen, but you didn't know how, and they kind of like came up with that unique idea of him having those that help thing that he had. And to me, it just kind of like it really just blended well as a story, because it just it told a good story. It didn't feel like you were just watching a show with like filler at all. It had like a story and a point to everything, even the comical parts. There's even a character in it you didn't even know who was there. I remember you asked like TF, who is this? And like TF had to explain, and she came into it.
Yeah, apparently she was only there for like one season. I had no idea who this girl was.
Yeah, and to me it was just kind of like, it was just fun to kind of see like this, like the guy you mentioned who wanted to keep the Christmas spirit alive. And to me it was just kind of fun to see that happen, to see kind of like, to hear that, because it kind of is something you can relate to when you get older. It's kind of, the story itself is kind of something you can relate to when you get older, because like everyone like kind of like, oh, she still believes in Santa, and kind of like going into that, but just keeping the spirit alive and stuff kind of like takes you back to the spirit of Christmas. Either if you're around kids or even just with yourself, just kind of you have fun with it, even though you know everything. You just kind of like, you go with it because it's Christmas. It's kind of the season you do just that. I just found it to be a really cozy episode with some good holiday songs and mixed in with a good story. I thought it was great all around.
I'm glad you mentioned that arty part, because that was another really like touching part. But like another one of my favorite parts was when Brittany said she found it under the tree and she didn't know what it was, and she thought it was a transformer at first.
That made me laugh hard.
There's actually something I thought about though that kind of inconsistent there, and that she was asking Santa in that episode for Artie to be able to walk, and then in like a later episode she was like saying like she thinks he's half robot.
Oh man.
But yeah, I really liked it, and this week it was actually Joe's week to pick a special, and he gave us a choice between Charles in Charge and Keenan and Kel. Actually, I usually let people introduce their own special, so sorry about that, Joe.
It's good to me. It saves me energy having to say that.
Well, yeah, you gave us the choice, and I like Keenan and Kel a lot, but I remember that special somewhat vividly, so I kind of wanted to go for the one that I didn't, I saw it like years ago, but I didn't really remember it that much. So, and I really love Charles in Charge too. Like honestly, if it weren't for that show, I never would have even met TF, because that led me to that board that we met at. But I really enjoyed this special, and I'll kind of let you introduce it now, anyways, Joe, and kind of go over why you picked it and what led into it.
All right. Well, basically, I was looking for, I kind of look for unique stuff that we either haven't watched or is kind of like, something you wouldn't expect. Like I remember like, I don't think this was the Christmas review. It was a normal review, but we picked like Elf, and you guys weren't expecting that. I go for shows that you guys wouldn't expect. And Kenan and Kel was kind of an expected one, but it was one I knew that could be like that I knew was kind of a good one. And whereas like Charles in Charge, I'd never actually seen that episode, so I was kind of like, I kind of like picking that stuff too, just because it's kind of like I had never seen it. I know if you've seen it, you've probably seen it years ago. I don't even know if TF saw it or not. I have no idea.
I don't think I've ever seen that episode.
But to me, it's kind of like, it's just fun to me to kind of like pick something we've never seen and kind of get into it ourselves and kind of, laugh along with it, not knowing what to expect. And that was kind of fun here. It's kind of, a premise of Charles basically coming up with this trip to go to a cabin, and, everyone else kind of resisting to it. They don't want to go. They have their own plans and stuff. And they get to the cabin, and it's like this horrible cabin. It's like, you guys are like, they showed the outside, and you guys are like, oh, this looks cozy. And then they go inside, and you go, okay, that's not so cozy. It's kind of like,
it's like a dump.
Yeah. There's like boarded up places everywhere, and like they're all gonna set up and stuff, and they realize they're snowed in. There's like this big snowstorm going on, and everyone's like blaming Charles, and all they have to eat is like these mushrooms. And it was like that one line where they're like, come roast some mushrooms and stuff. They're like gathered around a fire. It was just like kind of a cozy episode, kind of like a primitive Christmas. And eventually it all kind of came to a boiling point, and they all kind of got together and the kids started like singing the carols, and everyone got into that. It was kind of like this touching moment. And Charles actually went on the roof at one point too, which is kind of comical because it had this bear. Kind of like reminded us of the Bernstein Bears review from last year, which people.
Yeah, it's funny because TF actually mentioned how like the cabin kind of reminded him of like that Bear Save Christmas special we watched last year, and then the next thing we see is a bear.
Yeah, go back in our podcast if you don't remember this and listen, because it was quite the spectacle when we described this. And this was essentially the same thing. Like Charles opened the door and there was like this bear, like just like with his arms up in the air, like roaring, and they were like horrified. And they eventually threw candy bars out at it. But eventually everything worked out, and they actually had like Santa bring gifts and stuff. I thought it was
Brittany was right.
What? There you go, Brittany's right. But to me, it's just like it was kind of one of the more lighthearted ones. I like the ones you guys pick because they had like a really good story built into it. This one kind of had it too. But I felt this one was more like lighthearted in that sense. I don't know how you guys felt about it, but I liked it just because it was kind of amusing. It's like there was this one part I forgot that I have to mention where Buddy has like this axe and he's like holding it, and like they find out that I forgot the kid's name, but they found out he has like this candy, and he has like these candy bars he was hiding because they didn't have food. And he has this axe and he's like walking towards the kid with it. He's like, "Here's Buddy," and Charles has to slap him to get him out of it. That was like hilarious to me. His sweater was too. What do you guys think?
I loved it. I was a huge fan of Charles in Charge back in the day, and it's kind of funny. I always used to relate to Charles, like he was like the character on there that I kind of most related to back in the day. And hearing him say like he wants like this big cozy Christmas with everyone in a cabin, I'm like, yeah, that's me. And he took him out there, and they were kind of jerks to him, and like you said, like it kind of turned around. Everyone kind of got in the Christmas spirit, and Santa showed up, and then the grandpa ended up showing up the next day, and the roof ended up caving in because of all the snow up there. And they like, I thought it was really cozy. I thought it was funny. I know we were all really laughing hard at the bear. Like I don't think any of us saw that coming. That was great, and just a great episode. And I just gotta throw in my love for Nicole Eggert here. It's been many years, but I used to have a big crush on her back in the day, and seeing her here, I can remember why. Although she was 15 here, so I probably shouldn't say that.
She was amusing, to say the least.
Yeah, she was. Like, she was like one of my favorite characters on there. And so it's funny, she was actually like dating Scott Baio at like the time of this show. And he was like in his 20s or something like that. But we'll save that for another day. But I really like this special. What'd you think, TF?
Well, I really loved it. I thought that, first of all, it was an episode I'd never seen before, at least that I remember, so I thought that was really cool. But, a great show. It's a TV classic, really, but I loved the episode. I thought that just the whole premise of the episode, I think that we've all been there, that we've all kind of tried to do something different for Christmas one year, and maybe it didn't work out, and things kind of went bad, but those are the moments you remember. Those are the moments when it kind of gets down to the bare minimum, and you kind of realize what the holiday is all about and what it means. It's about just being with family and making memories, and those are the moments when you make the memories like that. And I thought that there was a lot of really funny moments, like you said, that thing about Buddy and the axe, and the bear at the door. I thought those were both really hilarious moments. But I really enjoyed the episode. I thought it was a great episode, and again, it just kind of shows you really what Christmas is all about, and that's about making memories with family, and so I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it a lot, and I give it a thumbs up. I think that you picked a good episode, Joe.
I agree. Excellent choice.
Thanks. Like I said, just like picking stuff we haven't seen before, because it definitely creates a unique experience.
We still have a few more weeks of this Christmas review. Next week it's actually my week. I have an idea in mind, but I don't want to spoil it here on the show, but that'll be fun. But this week it was actually my week for the extra topic, which is I kind of came up with this idea a couple of weeks ago where whoever's turn it is kind of has a choice between DME or quiz. But really it can be anything. Like you can come up with your own feature or just really do anything, because I think that kind of leaves it more open-ended, so that like some of these topics don't really kind of run out of steam, so to say. And I think you guys can both agree that's a good way to go. But I actually went with a little topic called Who Would You Rather Blank, that we have not done here on the show in quite some time. What was that, TF?
I said, ooh, that's I wasn't expecting that.
So tonight is the return of Who Would You Rather Blank. I believe this is actually the first time we've done this since the Hang 10 podcast back in February, so this ought to be interesting. I'll let you go first here, TF.
Okay.
This is actually a Christmas theme one. I'm going to start us out with the Christmas spirit here. Who would you rather have organize a Christmas party for you? Me or Joe?
Wow. This is a tough one. I think that I might. I think I might go with you, Chad, just because I can't really see Joe like organizing some kind of like a party because he's not really kind of like a party kind of guy. But I think you would do a good job too. But I think that you might you're kind of always the guy with like the brains behind things, and I don't think that I would be that great at like throwing a Christmas party myself. So I would not feel bad if Joe picked you either. But I think you'd throw a pretty interesting party. You'd probably do something like have a bear show up and all that. So I mean, that would be funny.
Well, thanks, man. It's your turn, Joe. But I want you to forget what TF just said about it might not be a good idea, and just kind of go off. Your head, who you would pick.
I think I would still pick you in that sense, just because I think you have like you said, you're kind of outside the box with it, and you kind of have these good ideas in your head of what would make a Christmas party. But I do want to say that TF would have a role in this, even if he wasn't the main guy who organizes this. He would be the decorator because his decorations are top notch. So I would want him like decorating the party, to say the least. I think he would be great at that. We'll always see his pictures of his houses and stuff. I think he would be great at like putting together the decorations and kind of organizing that. I think as a general,
I totally agree with that.
I think you would be like the better like party host in general, just because you kind of have those ideas, and you probably would make it kind of over the top and wacky. But at the same time, it's Christmas, so this is one time where I'd actually make that exception. Where usually I pick TF because he's more conservative. I know he wouldn't do stuff to mess with me. I know you would, but this time it's Christmas, so I probably would go for that. So I think that's why I would go with you'd be like the main guy putting this together, and TF would be kind of just a decorations guy because he would be phenomenal at that.
Well, thanks, man.
I appreciate it too.
Number 2, and it's your turn to go first here, Joe. Who would you rather have as an accomplice to rob a bank with if you absolutely had to do this?
Along the same lines, I'd probably go with you because you're kind of like you have those creative ideas in your head of, like, if I had to do this, you would have those ideas in your head of how to do this. I think, well, TF would be kind of into this. I like, for in the sense of if I had to do it, he kind of like would go along with it because he knew it had to be done. But I also think he'd probably be like me and kind of like a little more nervous actually doing this. Whereas with you, I could probably convince you in some way that this is kind of a challenge if we had to do it. You would probably be like, okay, well, you kind of like have that more leadership type of role where you could actually help pull this off. I think TF would be good in it, but he'd be kind of that guy who'd be kind of like a little more hesitant to actually do this, which is a good quality too because he'd be kind of like the more reserved guy. I think I go with you overall because I think you would be kind of like the idea guy behind this and would kind of have these crafty ideas of how to do this. Although TF does live in Detroit, so maybe he has some good ideas too because he lives in a place that's high with crime.
What about you, TF? Who would you rather rob a bank with?
TF, like, I don't want to influence your decision here, but I kind of,
I hate to do that.
No, I know, I fully agree.
But, like, Joe does not have
Stop telling each other not to pick the other. That makes it too easy.
Come on, Chad. Do you honestly think he would have picked me anyways?
Joe does not have a bad bone in his body, and not to say that you do either, Chad, but you do have you do seek thrills. You do things like they'll say stuff like,
I can see this.
Well, I can see why someone would want to throw a riot just because it's like something different or whatever.
I take no offense to this. I think you're spot on with this.
I could see you doing something. Like I'm not saying I could see you robbing a bank per se, but I mean doing something for the thrill of it, and I definitely think you'd probably pull it off better than Joe. I mean, Joe would probably come up to the desk or like the teller and be like, "Hey, could you give me some money,
please?"
And then she'd just be like, "Security," and like they'd drag Joe out without a fight. Whereas you'd probably like put some dramatics in there, and at the very least, like do something that would show up on the news.
Walk in, start shooting like the roof with a machine gun or something.
I do want to say in the positive, like, to you, and another way of picking you is that you have a very active imagination, and while I'm not sure you've ever actually solved this particular situation, I would imagine you've probably either dreamed or have thought of quite a few similar scenarios of maybe what you would do in that situation, just because you have...
Most likely.
Exactly. So to me, you would already have like something. I'm not sure if you have is like that. I really don't know, but I know you're like that, so that kind of like gives you a point if I know that about you.
Number 3, TF, it's your turn again. Who would you rather journey on a long expedition with? This could be anywhere, like Africa, the desert,
Egypt.
Just like this long journey in search of something.
I might go with Joe on this one just because I know that you don't really like walking all that much, Chad. And, like, I don't know if we be doing this on foot or not, but...
He likes it even less, I say that.
Wow. I don't know. I mean, I still might go with Joe because I have a feeling that I could probably talk him into doing things that you couldn't. Like, I couldn't do with you. Like, if I said, hey, like, there's treasure here, like... You might be like, no, I don't really want to do that. I don't think there's really any treasure there. Whereas Joe might be a little bit, he might not want to tell me no. I don't know. I'm going to go with Joe. I just have this hunch.
I take no offense to that, but if you saw him on the last trip, I think you would have a totally different answer. Because that guy did not want to walk.
I very well might.
Joe?
I think in this one I do have to go with TF because he's the navigator in our trip. So at least if you and I got lost, we did get lost out there. It was disastrous. We had to call TF to figure out what we were doing.
Yeah, you would hate going on an expedition with me.
So I definitely would go with TF just because I think he would, like, even if we were lost, he would have like an awareness of kind of where we were or where we at least should be walking. Whereas if it was you and I, we would be walking a mile in the wrong place and we would have to stop and ask this old guy where we were going. He would like look at us like we were bums and ask us if we had fare to get there. So I definitely got to go with TF.
I take no offense to that whatsoever. Number 4, Joe. Who would you rather have surveillancing your existence 24/7 if you had to choose between the two?
This is kind of tough, but surveillancing my existence 24/7.
Yeah, say it's like kind of like a home jailed thing, like house arrest. Like you have to. I know this is a silly scenario, but say like you have to pick one of your friends to keep an eye on you 24/7.
I think again I might go with TF because I like, in a sense I would trust you more because I've known you like a little bit longer and I know you like in and out. But in terms of like I think TF would like let me get away with a little more, whereas I think you would kind of take joy in this, like a joy in like you had me under house arrest. You'd be like I picture you like having fun with it, being like, oh no, like if I wanted to like do something, like no, you're not doing this, and I'm like,
I don't know what you're talking about.
And whereas TF, I could see him kind of being like more lenient. He probably would have fun with it too. I don't know, but he'd be more lenient, and I could probably maybe guilt him more into like letting me do something not that I wouldn't like necessarily be allowed to do, but maybe something like maybe a little more privacy. Whereas you'd be kind of like, well, I don't know, it's kind of weird, but I think I would still go with TF because this guy, I know you'd take too much joy in this.
What about you, TF?
Well, I think really for the same reason Joe said this, I have to go with this too, in that I think you would take joy in like having me on house arrest and would kind of like really like never let me live this down. So whereas I think Joe would probably be a little more lenient about things. So I would go with Joe on this too because I think that he would be not necessarily the better person to watch me on house arrest, but kind of the person who would kind of let me get away with more.
I can see that. Number 5, and it's your turn to go first again, TF.
Okay.
Who, if you were absolutely forced to for whatever reason, would you rather share a girlfriend with? I actually had a more un-PG question originally, but then I'm like, I don't want to be in this scenario, so.
I'm not even going to go there.
I
think TF was like perplexed by this. I'm glad TF got like this question. I'm glad.
Oh, your time's coming, buddy.
You know, I think that I think I might go with Joe on this one again too, because I have a feeling that where like you would turn this into more of a competition, Chad, like be like, oh, I'm a better lover than you are or something, whereas whereas me and Joe would probably just not talk about it or something.
What about you, Joe?
I think I might go for the same reason, just because I don't know. Like I'm trying to think of this, and it's kind of like you might like. It kind of depends on like the situation itself, like what causes and what brings it. But I kind of think you might like take umbrage to this. I'm thinking back to that question you asked about like what happens if that disease or whatever, or not disease, but whatever that question was you asked about the
the kissing attraction.
So to me, like you already kind of thought about this, so I would go with TF because he seems more like he's not on the ball with this, and I don't know. I kind of take umbrage that you might. I don't know. Like TF said, you might actually take joy in like goatiness about that. More in a fun way to you, but probably in a way where TF and I would be like really uncomfortable.
I get it, guys. I'm a distrustful, evil man.
No.
I'm kidding.
What
kidding.
about
Make
you?
our lives miserable.
Let's turn this back on you because you avoided last week, but you cannot avoid this week. Who would you choose?
I would choose you, Joe, just because for one reason and one reason alone, and that is that TF and I have a history of being somewhat competitive
Yes,
with
we
girls.
do.
Whereas I think with you, you would be kind of like, even if you really liked a girl, like I would feel bad, like just taking her and like leaving you with nothing. But I feel like you would be the more likely one to be kind of like, all right, this can't go on anymore. You just take her. You know what I mean? Like,
I can definitely say it would be too weird for
Yeah.
me to like envision this, like us having to like share. That would just be weird to me. Like, just the
Yeah.
idea of it in general is kind of just weird to me. So maybe that would be easier for you. You and
not
TF?
really, because I'd like anytime I kiss her, it'd be like she kissed you, and
Exactly.
that's just wrong. Well, that was the return of Who Would You Rather Blank.
I
hope you
I
guys had
definitely
fun.
like that.
Thank you. And next week, TF, it's your turn. You can pick anything. DME, quiz, Who Would You Rather Blank. Come up with your own idea. Go crazy.
I'm looking forward to it.
And tonight you have 5 random questions, so I'm going to hand it over to you.
All right, I'll kick this off. I kind of made this a Christmas theme for my 5 random questions, and I think I'll kick this one off with letting Joe go first. So,
Of course.
maybe I should
first
change.
and last one.
All right. Well, either way, I'll kick this off here, and I'll start.
Joe can go first.
All right, I'll let Joe go first. This is I don't want to say I stole this right here, but it's kind of inspired by something that we did last week. And the question number 1 is, what would you do if your significant other, in this case a girlfriend or wife, were extremely sheltered by her parents all of her life and still legitimately believed in Santa Claus?
So that's it. Like I was making sure.
Yeah.
'Cause
Yeah,
I-
basically. Like,
I
what would you
wouldn't-
do? Like, how would you like, I don't know, like, would you, like, try to, like, just keep this belief with her, or would you...
What are you talking about, TF? Santa Claus is real, man. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know what you're talking about.
What a weird question. We just watched Charles in Charge and saw that he's real.
I mean, I would embrace this. I would actually enjoy that just because it'd be unique. I'd like that just because it would keep the Christmas spirit alive and make sure every year, like, I would try, like, I wouldn't like try and stage miracles or something like that, but I'd try and like make something like happen that, like, maybe like eavesdrop.
Hey Chad, can you pretend to be in a wheelchair so we can make you walk?
I would like in general, like if I heard her like say something like if I heard her say something that she wanted when I wasn't around, like kind of like I did on the podcast, I would like get it for her and be like have it there, and she'd be like, how did this get here? You know, like, I don't know, how did it get here? She's like, how did anyone know I wanted this or something like that? It'd be kind of fun just in that general sense of like having that sense of wonderment. It'd be kind of fun, like just keeping that alive. Like I mentioned it earlier, it's kind of the fun of Christmas. It's kind of like seeing people's reactions, that kind of stuff. So I would fully embrace that. Honestly, it wouldn't be like a hindrance to me at all.
I agree, and honestly, like, in all seriousness, I was a late believer. Like, I believed until I was, like, maybe 13 or 14, just because even though I kind of saw signs that maybe my mom was putting stuff down there, it's like I wanted to believe. It was kind of the same with pro wrestling. Like I knew, like, back in, like, 1999 that it wasn't real, but it's like I wanted to believe it was real, and that's kind of how I am in general. It's like I have this need to believe in things, and I would do everything I can to keep that, spirit and that innocence alive with her. I just think it's important. I think I would actually really like having a girl like that. That's just, like I said, just that innocence. Just I would not want to ruin that for someone, and just I feel like that would like ruin their whole life and just make them kind of bitter. Not bitter's not the right word, but like what's that word I'm thinking of? Where you kind of like become like discouraged with things, I guess, for lack of a better term. Well, you guys, I'm sure you know what I mean, but
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, that. So yeah, I would totally go along with it. Like Joe said, I wouldn't like stage miracles, like make TF walk for the first time in his life or anything like that. But I'd embrace it.
I still don't know what you guys are talking about. Santa Claus is real, and so is pro wrestling. Both are real. I don't know what you guys are talking about anymore.
Yeah, it's that MMA stuff. That's fake.
Exactly.
I just realized that I meant to say, like, if she didn't believe in Santa Claus, like, how would you go about this?
Oh, if she didn't, I'd leave her.
All right, question number 2, and this one you get to go first on, Chad. What changes would you make to the holiday if your son or daughter was born on Christmas Day, and how would it affect his or her birthday?
That's a very good question. Very interesting scenario.
And one thing I want to bring up though is that like one thing you have to imagine is that your son or daughter would kind of get the short end of the stick, and that people would be giving them like gifts for like their birthday at Christmas instead of.
I was thinking that. I was thinking like that would be like an easy way out to like get them gifts like once a year, but I wouldn't want to do that.
Yeah, exactly. It would be kind of like people would just be like, "Oh, this is for your birthday and Christmas," so they would only get like one day where they got gifts instead of most kids who get two.
I would get them double gifts just because Christmas isn't all about gifts, and I would want to make it well known to them that Christmas is not all about gifts. But at the same time, it's like, I mean, it's their birthday too. They deserve extra gifts, I guess. I'm trying to think of a better way to put that, but they do. It'd be kind of weird to me. Like on one end, it would kind of. I don't actually think of Christmas so much as Jesus' actual birthday. Like, it's the day we celebrate it, but really we don't know what day Jesus is born on. So I mean, it'd be kind of neat to like think that, you know, maybe my son or daughter has the same birthday as Jesus, but maybe they don't. Maybe I do, for all I know. Like, maybe he was born in July, but I don't think I'd like it very much, to be honest. I mean, it would be kind of a Christmas miracle on one end, but on the other end, it would be kind of like, I kind of want my kids to have like birthday is really special to you your first few years in life till maybe even into your teens. Like, if you're a girl, like, you have like your sweet 16 and all that, and I wouldn't want my daughter to have her sweet 16 on like Christmas. I mean, it'd just be kind of weird, and I kind of would want to keep those things separate. But if it did happen, and obviously I wouldn't have much of a choice, I would kind of try and maybe what I would try and do is like have their birthday celebrated like the week before, just so that they kind of had this own special weekend where it's all about them. And then the next week we kind of celebrate Christmas, where it's like, yeah, it's their birthday, but we already celebrated. We already gave them like their own weekend to kind of feel special and have it be their day. And that's probably what I'd do.
Can you imagine though, like being like a little kid, like maybe like a 2 or 3 year old, and like having your birthday happen around Christmas? It kind of would seem like everyone was like celebrating your birthday, like around the world, basically. It would kind of just.
That's true. That's an interesting thing to think about.
It would be until I think when they got older is really when it would become more of a problem, like personally, like when they really understood about all that stuff. But yeah, what do you think about this, Joe?
TF just like influenced my answer a little bit, because like his thought there is kind of like what I probably would do is do like the double gifts then, like when they're like real small, just because it would make that, like, they would think that, you know, people are celebrating like that. But as I got older, what I would do, and my family kind of does this, not in the sense of like holidays, but just, you know, in general, if it's like a busy weekend or, you know, it doesn't work out, I would probably just like wait either like a few weeks, like Chad said, or like a month, and kind of do their birthday on their own time and kind of just make it into a big deal then. I mean, it's not the same as your actual birthday, and I would still get them like double gifts on their like Christmas, just because, you know, on my end. But I would like use that time to like give people like a month to recover from, you know, Christmas, and be able to like buy gifts and bring them to, you know, just to give them to, you know, just so they don't feel like, oh wow, we have to get them a Christmas gift and a birthday gift. It's kind of spread out a little bit so they get time. And I really don't think it would take away too much as they're older, like maybe like a teenager or somewhere around there, you know, like getting a little bit older, getting to like their preteens, just because really, in a sense, they still begin a birthday, they still begin everything, you know, everything, and they begin in a bigger deal because it would be during Christmas. So to me, I think I would do that. I would kind of find a different day and find a good time for it, and kind of just do it on that time. That way everyone has a chance to prepare for it, and no one feels like, oh, we have to, you know, spend double here and double there. They kind of have a month to prepare, and the kid gets a special day for them, just for them, and they get Christmas too. It's just kind of a win-win all around, I think, to me, but that's my opinion.
Very thought-provoking question there, TF.
It was. I definitely like that when you think about it.
I think you both had some pretty good answers. I think that really you could go either way if you wanted to look at it that way, but like it's really all up to the person, I think. But moving on to question number 3, and this time I believe you get to go first, Chad, rather.
I think it's actually...
It's mine.
No, it's Joe's.
Yeah.
Joe's.
That's right.
Oh, yeah, you know, you're right. You're right about that. Question number 3, and you get to answer this one first, Joe. If you had a budget of $1,000 total to buy Christmas gifts for both of your Pancake Boat podcast co-hosts right now, what would you get each of them, and why?
Wow.
You know, that's kind of funny because I was thinking of that, like, I was thinking of that as a potential topic for next week because I still have one, but I was thinking like, what would like I get you guys if I had like the money to do it, and I
You'd
don't,
go get us cheap crap and like spend the rest of the money on yourself. No, I'm kidding.
yeah, on my girls, no, I'm kidding, but I know for TF, like I don't know what he has in general, so it's kind of hard for him, but I think
I can always use more.
yeah, I think I know because of how much he like loves the Pistons and stuff. I think I would get him like a custom made jersey with his name on it, like because I don't know. I don't know what kind of like jerseys he has, so for all I know, he might have like a player jersey. I might get it from him. But I'm guessing he doesn't have like a custom made jersey for himself.
No, that would be an awesome gift.
I definitely go for like an authentic one, like use all the money I could just to make it.
That would be expensive.
Yeah, a really authentic one for him, and just kind of like have that, something he could like remember forever and kind of have his own thing for it.
Wear that.
And for you, Chad, like, see, that's kind of difficult in a sense because I could think of like TF there, but for you, I'd want to get something like huge, like how much was it again, TF?
Well, basically like $1,000, but like you had to split that for us, or you could use more for Chad or more for me, but that's just your budget for both of us,
I think what I would try and do is get Chad something like, see, like I was thinking of something like huge, but I can't exactly like go get him a boat for like $1,000. It's more than that, but I would get him something like, I'm trying to think of what I would get him. In all honesty, I think what I would do, if this is like you said, like current day, what I would do is I would arrange this to actually happen a few days before. I would actually use that money towards like Charles did, like a ski trip and a ski lodge, and I'd fly him out there.
You stole my answer.
I'd fly you out there. Well, yeah, but this is for you because this is actually something I know you would love. Like, this is something I know you are like. This is like a dream of yours.
I would.
So I would put it together with like you and Chef and maybe a few others if I still had money left over. But flights are pretty costly, so it'd have to be like.
Buy us some girls.
Well, like I said, flights are pretty.
What are
costly.
these girls going to be doing?
I only have $1,000 here. I don't have like two.
Decking the halls.
But I think I would put that together and kind of have like make it like the best Christmas you could ever have, so he always has that memory. Kind of like you always have that jersey. You kind of like always have that memory. Like more so than the gift, it'd be more so even for you too. It'd be a memory. So it'd kind of be working in both ways there.
What I would do is I was thinking of like getting a trip for all three of us. Although thinking about it, I'm not sure if 1,000 would be enough for that because for me alone it would cost like 600 for me to fly out. But at the same time, like I could probably just like add in extra money for me because I have a budget for you guys. But
that's a good point.
So I will fly myself out to this trip, and I will pay for you guys to go somewhere. And I think I'd actually want us to go somewhere different than Chicago. Like as much as I love going to Chicago with you guys, I would really love for us to go do something different, like maybe a ski trip or maybe go out to Florida and go to Disney World or something like that. I just think it'd be really fun to kind of put all that money together and just have all of us go out and like, have this great experience for a few days and just kind of, obviously we wouldn't really get to do it on Christmas week, but I would tell you guys about it. We could kind of start to plan from there and kind of a few months later go out somewhere, and maybe even January we could like go out to Disney World or something because it'd be warm around that time of the year, and I think that'd be really fun.
Yeah, it definitely sounds like it.
I would love that. I think that's really a great idea. Both of you guys, like I thought, had really great ideas. So I thought that was really a really fun question, on my end, just hearing your guys' ideas. But move on here to question number 4, and this is kind of a long one, and I'll start with you, Chad, on this one. If for whatever reason you were unable to spend Christmas with your family, but were able to choose between spending it with one of your Pancake Boat Podcast co-hosts, who would you choose and why? And to spice it up a little bit, I'll give the choice of picking between my house in Detroit, which for you, Chad, which is very well, like, it could be snowy and Christmassy, whereas the downside would be that it would be in Detroit. But if you chose Joe, where it would likely be really warm, if not kind of hot, it would be still in a safer and nicer area. And for Joe, it's going to be a little different, but this is for you. This is your choice, basically.
I like this. It kind of even goes along with Who Would You Rather Blank, which ironically we brought back earlier tonight.
Yeah.
I think there's pros and cons to staying with both of you because, like you said, you have like the really dangerous neighborhood. And Joe kind of says his neighborhood's kind of dangerous too, but I'm kind of thinking it's probably less dangerous than Detroit.
I'm going to guess that.
Sure. The snow is definitely a plus for TF, and another huge plus for TF is that your family goes all out for Christmas. So I would really love to be there with you guys and kind of celebrate like this big family Christmas. Like I have my family. I love my family. We have our own things. but we're not really like over the top with stuff like you guys kind of are, and I think it would really be fun to experience that. Whereas with Joe, he kind of makes it sound like they're kind of all over the place, and like some of them go somewhere, some of them go other places, and they don't really fully know what they're doing. And honestly, I think Joe would probably hate having me there. Like he'd have to explain to his grandparents like why I'm there and like who is this guy.
Who is this guy?
I just feel like I would make it really uncomfortable for everybody there, whereas TS family kind of know me a little more. I know his brother and sister, and his mom knows about me, and I just feel like I would be. I don't mean this in a bad way, Joe, but I feel like I would probably be welcomed more. So I think I'm gonna have to go with TF on this. Although I would like to spend Christmas with you too, Joe. I just think there would probably be a lot of issues with it.
Well, I was actually like, I didn't want to influence your decision like earlier with TF. Like you said, don't influence his decision. But I was like, and I agree with you. It's like I don't even know what I'm doing for Christmas Day. So it's like you'd be coming to like nothing. You'd be coming to like probably a depressing Christmas Day from what you're used to. So I think you'd be better off with TF there, to be honest.
I show up to California, and we all go to the Golden Corral.
There you go. That basically be what would happen. And
it's a little different for you though.
Although at least up there, you kind of like that place, up there where it's at is kind of like where we're gonna move, and it kind of like maybe has snow sometimes. Like we passed by there once when it was snowing, like a long time ago. We were on a trip, so maybe there would be snow there, but hard to say. In terms of who I would pick,
yeah, but yours is gonna be a little different. Remember, for you, the choice is between like spending it at my house in Detroit with my family, where there's a chance. I mean, there couldn't be any snow, and it might not be all that Christmassy, and obviously it'd be in Detroit, but if you spend it with Chad, the catch with this is you would be spending it at Chad's apartment, not actually at his family's house, because I'm thinking more of like the place where like I live or where he lives at. But obviously the pluses for there is that it would probably be snowy, and you guys would be able to like throw your own Christmas party like together, and it would be like something that maybe you guys could start a tradition with,
like the Hall & Oates music video.
Yeah, something like that. So there's like a plus and the pro and a con, like both ways. This way too.
You just basically answered the question for me, but it's in a good way because it put it in perspective better than I could. In that, like, if that were the case, what you said, then like Chad would pretty much be alone for like Christmas. He would be like there, like I picture like Fonzie when he's like at his garage, like sitting there with like this horrible Christmas meal, and he's like
can of beans.
Exactly.
Well, I think TF kind of means it more where like if you came here, like I'd be with you,
yeah.
Whereas if you chose TF, like I'd be with my family.
Yeah, exactly. But like considering it wouldn't be at Chad's house, it'd be kind of weird if he just like brought you along, and like might be kind of awkward. So you guys would like spend it there, whereas like this is like basically like my place. Like I would be like, you guys better like let him come here and like have a good time. Whereas it might be kind of different if he was like going to his grandmother's house or something, and you were like, oh, I'm bringing this guy along.
And another interesting thing to think about too is
my
that
family actually knows Chad. Like that's a little bit different.
Yeah. Another interesting thing to think about here too is that TF has a more dangerous place where he lives, but my place might be kind of more foreign to you, in that I kind of live out by the woods, and it'd probably be like visiting a whole new world basically from what you're used to.
It'd be like visiting that country I visited, like the desert country a couple of weeks ago, only like being there more in depth. But I think I would still pick you just because. Like again, if it was just us, then obviously you'd still spend with your family otherwise. But TF kind of has his family there. And I don't know how to interact with his family, to be honest with you. Like I have no idea. What?
I said I get that.
Like,
I mean they like kind of like they know about you, but I can see why it would be awkward.
Not just that, I don't know how to get along with them. Like maybe BF and I would get in a Christmas fight or something for some reason.
I somehow can't imagine you getting in a fight with anybody.
I would very likely. There's a very good chance I could get in a fight with your sister.
Very, very.
I probably would choose Chad, but it wouldn't be like horrible to me. Like maybe just being in Detroit, but considering you've been pretty safe for the most part, I really don't like see it as a bad thing. It's kind of like here. It's like obviously there's some dangerous stuff that happens, but nothing's ever like personally happened here. So it's at the same time I can't really say that it's like it's like this danger zone. It's kind of like the town itself in some places are, but. Like I've never heard anything like bad about what you said, like at least lately or anything like that. So it's not like you're having criminals break in every night or something. But I would hope not. But to me, I think I would just go with Chad, just because it seems like he probably could use the company a little more, even with his family, just because he always talks about he can't relate to some of his family members, how they do the hunting stuff and stuff like that. Whereas with you, it seems like you have a lot more fun with your family members, even in your times of arguing and stuff. when it comes to Christmas, you guys are pretty family. So I think I would go with Chad just because of that.
I actually think we would have a killer Christmas party here,
I think
too.
you would.
All your women there.
I wish, my friend.
Maybe you guys could get some, but
You wouldn't need me if you had all your women there. You'd be like, sorry, Joe.
That is very true, but it'd still be fun to have you.
be like, you're cramping my style here, Joe.
We could like play Xbox and like eat Christmas cookies.
Play what
and
you
stuff.
say?
Xbox. What do you think I said? I don't understand.
Not going there. But, okay, question number 5. This is the comedic one of the night, which is kind of my thing. And this is your turn to go first, Joe. How would you react if sometime in the future, when you shared an apartment with your 2 other Pancake Boat Podcast co-hosts, and I just want to point this out that I accidentally put Podcat, which is kind of amusing me right now. You woke up very early on Christmas morning to get a drink of water and discovered our friend Clark shuffling around Christmas presents under the tree wearing green face paint and a Santa outfit. And when you confronted him about the strange occurrence, he assured you that he was just trying to make sure you would receive the gifts from him.
I would not know how to react to this. I think I would actually alert you guys and see what you thought about it. Let you guys
us.
Yeah, I would like call for you guys, and because you guys would probably be like flipping out over this. Like I'd flip out over it obviously because of like I'd be like, I think I'd be speechless during this. I'd be like, what the heck is he like wearing this face paint for? After a while, like this is like after a while, like after everything's done, I'd probably like be tempted to like start singing the Grinch theme song just because it would make me think of that and be like, singing like you're a mean one, Mr. Clark or something like that.
Mr. Clark.
Yeah.
I don't know, Mr. Clinch. I don't know.
You do that, I will beat the crap out of him if I see him like trying to steal our Christmas presents.
That's
like,
why I said I'll alert you guys, and I'll just like be in the background there, like looking at this.
I love the guy like a brother. I just want to say that firsthand. But him and I have a history of getting into it very easily. And if I saw him doing something like this, as comical as it would be, if it was like a joke and it came out that he was like doing a joke, I would think it was hilarious. But if he was like if I actually found out he was trying to steal from us, like I wouldn't actually fight him like physically, but I would like just yell at the guy. Like I would get really into it with him, like pretty much like we did in Chicago with the whole Batman thing. Like that would be like a Christmas massacre.
Christmas massacre. The great Christmas massacre of whenever this year is.
2020 or something.
I can just imagine like you guys' reaction as you wake up and you see like EFD with like green stuff on his face, and I'm like yelling at him.
I can
and it's
see
like
doing this too.
Oh man, that was an awesome question. Awesome questions.
It was. We definitely did a great job. It makes me sad that we're actually ending because.
Oh, thank you.
I know. I'm like really sad to end this because the show's actually went a lot longer than I thought I have, and this is probably like the latest we've ever recorded a show aside from the Hang 10. But
Probably is.
I'm at the same time very sad that we have to end this, but we still have next week, and we still have a few more weeks of this Christmas joy to spread.
Yes, we do, and I'm glad you guys enjoyed 5 random questions. Thought we had a great show tonight too. It's really fun. It's really Christmassy. Really keeps you in the spirit. I think just
it does.
Having this podcast here and having it so Christmas themed. But yeah, we still have a couple more shows coming up, and we'll definitely make the most of those. And I'm looking forward to it, as I always do, but especially so this time of year when everything is just so good spirited. I just love it. I think it's a beautiful thing.
Kind of funny. My Christmas spirit is like, I was like really in the spirit for a few weeks after Thanksgiving, and my Christmas spirit kind of died out this week with all the negative stuff, and it's like been raining out, and like all the snow melted, and it's like I was like not in the Christmas spirit at all. But tonight just like brought me like 100% back into it, so I'm like really happy about that. And you know, I want to thank everyone for listening. I hope you enjoyed the show as much as we did doing it. This is like our favorite time of the year to do this show, and I'm really glad that we still have a few more weeks to do this. And as always, like I said, I want to thank everyone for listening, and we'll see you next week.
Yeah, thanks for listening, everybody. Hope you guys enjoyed listening to the show as much as we enjoyed doing it, because I think we all had a lot of fun tonight. Hope you'll join us again next week for another Christmas-themed episode. So take care and have a good one. Happy holidays.
See you next week, everybody. Hope you had a great time tonight. I would like to have said happy holidays, and don't you dare miss it.